Chapter 3130. Mind Wizard seeing that Jian Wushuang was about to leave, Long Lu wanted to catch up with him at once. However, Jian Wushuang was extremely fast. Moreover, Jian Wushuang had released the ice and fire domain, which pressed down on him crazily, reducing his speed sharply. He could only follow far behind Jian Wushuang. That's right, he could not stop Jian Wushuang at all. He could only follow far behind Jian Wushuang to ensure that Jian Wushuang would not leave his sight. Damn it, I didn't expect this junior, who is only a rank 3 true saint, to be so difficult to deal with. Previously, in the battle, because of the rank 6 true saint of Holy Feather sect, I could not kill him. But now, without the obstruction of the rank 6 true saint, I can't do anything to him alone. Long Lu kept cursing in his heart. I have no choice. I can only follow him and kill him when Elder Xian Wu arrives. Long Lu had already reported Chu Yixio's death to the higher-ups. The Purple Cloud Pavilion naturally would not ignore the death of a genius disciple. Furthermore, Chu Yixiao was the personal disciple of Elder Xian Wu. The Purple Cloud Pavilion was also a great sect that was located in a mystic realm. This sect was even more powerful than the Young Divine sect. There were many experts in the Purple Cloud Pavilion, and there were even a few rank 7 true saints. It was also known that the Purple Cloud Pavilion had a true principles master. Because of this, the Purple Cloud Pavilion could be called one of the overlords of the first heaven. Within the large sect, a group of over 10 Purple Cloud Pavilion disciples formed a guard as they walked around in the air. Everything was originally calm, but suddenly, whoosh, 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 whoosh. Several figures suddenly rushed over from the distant air. In the blink of an eye, they swept past the group of guards and headed toward the Purple Cloud Pavilion's teleportation passage. Each of these figures had an extremely violent aura. This was especially so for the person in the lead, whose killing intent shook the heavens and earth. The 10-odd disciples of the guards were all greatly shocked when they saw this scene. What's going on? Did something happen? The person in the lead seems to be Elder Xian Wu. It's Elder Xian Wu. Look at his aura. It's so violent, and his killing intent is shocking. I've received news that Chu Yixiao was killed while he was adventuring outside. Chu Yixiao? Isn't that Elder Xian was personal disciple? No wonder Elder Xian Wu is so furious. He is very protective of his own shortcomings. Kiki, Elder Xian Wu is not only extremely powerful, but he is also extremely ruthless. Even in our Purple Cloud Pavilion, no one dares to offend him. Now that someone has killed his personal disciple, I really sympathize with that person. The disciples of the guards were chatting idly. Of course, they only dared to say this because Elder Xian Wu and the others had already left. If they were to beat them to death in front of Elder Xian Wu, they would definitely not dare to say a single word. Elder Xian Wu and the others had already taken the Purple Cloud Pavilion's spatial tunnel and disappeared into the Purple Cloud Pavilion. In the vast void, Long Lu was walking forward. At the end of his line of sight, there was a figure. That figure was, of course, Jian Wushuang. As expected, Elder Xian Wu has come here personally. Now, as long as I can follow that kid and don't let him out of my sight, Elder Xian Wu can kill him personally when he arrives. Long Lu stared at Jian Wushuang at the end, but he was also very nervous. Chu Yixiao was killed by Jian Wushuang in front of his eyes, which was already a big mistake for him. If he did not kill Jian Wushuang immediately and take revenge for Chu Yixiao on the spot, he would be even more guilty. But now, if he let Jian Wushuang escape from his sight again, and let Jian Wushuang escape completely, his crime would be unforgivable. If Elder Xian Wu did not see Jian Wushuang, he would definitely kill him immediately. Don't let him escape. Long Lu clenched his hands. He had been following Jian Wushuang to make sure that Jian Wushuang was always in his sight. However, this situation did not last for long before Long Lu's expression suddenly changed. This kid, the direction he's going, Long Lu had been paying attention to his position and had been transmitting his position to Elder Xian Wu. However, when he followed Jian Wushuang to his current position, he sensed a hint of something. There aren't any particularly powerful sects or forces in front of this kid, but there's a mystic realm of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance. Long Lu frowned. There were many mystic realms of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance in the divine beginning world. Many of them were not actually secret. They were already completely open and well known. In the first heaven, there were several nests of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance that were completely open. Long Lu also knew about these nests, and it just so happened that Jian Wushuang was heading in the direction of that realm. Does he want to go to the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance's realm and take the space passage in the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance's realm to leave directly? Long Lu's expression immediately changed. There was a space passage in the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance's mystic realm. Moreover, the space passage was in all directions and could lead to all corners. As long as one could afford to pay the price, they could directly go to the endless territory from the mystic realm. If Jian Wushuang really had such a plan, it would be difficult for them to kill him. Elder Xian Wu. Long Lu immediately sent a message to Elder Xian Wu, who was rushing over. When Elder Xian Wu found out that Jian Wushuang was heading to the mystic realm of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance, he immediately flew into a rage. Bastard, no matter what, and no matter what price you pay, you must not let him escape to the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance's lair. Otherwise, you will die. Long Lu panicked. Elder Xian Wu, that kid is very difficult to deal with. I can't stop him at all. Even if you can't stop him, you have to. Even if he really enters the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance's lair, you must not let him use the space passage to leave. Elder Xian Wu's voice was cold. But I'm not an official member of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance. I don't even have the right to enter that lair. Unless I don't care about the consequences and use some means to temporarily seal the space around the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance's lair, so that the space passage inside the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance's lair is ineffective, Long Lu said in a deep voice. Seal the space and time? Elder Xian Wu's expression changed, and a trace of hostility flashed in his eyes. Yes. Long Lu was stunned, and his face turned pale. Elder Xian Wu, that's the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance. Although it's just one of the nests, it still represents the face of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance and directly seals the space and time around the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance's nest. This. Chapter 3131. Seal the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance was the #1 freedom alliance recognized by the absolute beginning divine realm. Seal the space and time around the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance's secret lair? This Long Lu could do it, but he did not have the guts to do it. What are you afraid of? It's just sealing the space and time around it. It's not like you're going to attack the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance's mystic realm directly. Even if the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance is dissatisfied, you can say that you're doing this because you want to kill a person who committed a heinous crime. After you kill that person, the space and time seal will naturally be lifted. The Heaven-Cleaving Alliance won't kill you in a rage. Elder Xian Wu sent a message. But Long Lu was still hesitant. Humph! How dare you disobey my order? Elder Xinhua's voice was suddenly stunning. Long Lu was stunned. He knew that Elder Xinhu was already very dissatisfied with him because of Chu Yixio's death. If he disobeyed Elder Xian Wu's order at this time, he might very likely kill him directly. Long Lu had no choice but to nod and agree. In the void ahead, Jian Wushuang indeed headed toward the secret nest of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance. Not long after, the mystic realm appeared in front of him. Jian Wushuang did not hesitate and directly rushed into the nest. He really came to this mystic realm. Long Lu's face darkened, and then he immediately began to set up a magic array in the surrounding void. In the lair, Jian Wushuang came to the counter. Hand in the task. Jian Wushuang took out his identity token. A brown-haired elder at the counter looked up at Jian Wushuang, took the token, and nodded slightly. Soon, the task was handed over. Jian Wushuang also received his reward and was about to turn around. The brown-haired old man's face suddenly darkened. How dare you? The brown-haired old man shouted in a low voice, but he had already rushed out. In the void outside the mystic realm, Long Lu had finished setting up the magic array. The time and space around the mystic realm had been sealed. After being sealed, the people in the void could communicate with the outside world. However, the space passage could no longer be used. Whoosh! The brown-haired old man's figure suddenly appeared in the void and appeared in front of Long Lu. Who are you? How dare you seal the space and time around the secret lair of our heaven-cleaving alliance? The brown-haired old man shouted in a low voice. Looking at the brown-haired old man, Long Lu was shocked. The aura emitted by the brown-haired old man had reached the level of a rank 6 true saint, and it was at the peak of the rank 6. Taking a deep breath, Long Lu said humbly, I am the deacon of the Purple Cloud Pavilion. Long Lu, I have orders to seal this space-time temporarily. Orders? Orders from the Purple Cloud Pavilion? Isn't your Purple Cloud Pavilion a little too unscrupulous? You even dare to seal the heaven-cleaving alliance's lair directly. The brown-haired old man's voice was cold. No, my Purple Cloud Pavilion has no intention of going against the heaven-cleaving alliance. It's just that we happen to be chasing after a little thief who just happened to escape here. In order to prevent him from escaping, we had no choice but to resort to this plan. As long as we find and kill that little thief, I will immediately remove the surrounding space-time blockade. Moreover, Elder Xian Wu of my Purple Cloud Pavilion is also rushing over right now. When the time comes, Elder Xian Wu will naturally apologize to the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance's members personally. Long Lu said, Heart Shaman. The brown-haired elder narrowed his eyes. He had been in the first heaven for many years, so he knew all the experts in the first heaven. The heart shaman of the Purple Cloud Pavilion was definitely an expert, and he was not to be trifled with. What is the name of the person you are looking for? The brown-haired elder asked. His name is Heavenly Sword Marquis, and he is a rank 3 true saint, Long Lu said. Long Lu learned the name of Heavenly Sword Marquis from the third prince. The third prince had sent so many spies to serve the sixth prince, so it was not difficult for him to know Jian Wushuang's name. Heavenly Sword Marquis. The brown-haired elder narrowed his eyes slightly. At this moment, he was in a single room in the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance's lair. My young friend, the people of the Purple Heaven Pavilion are looking for you. They have specially sealed the time and space so that the space passage in the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance's realm cannot be used. A white-robed man stood in front of Jian Wushuang and said with a faint smile, Sealed the space-time passage? Jian Wushuang was surprised. He knew that the deacon of the Purple Heaven Pavilion had been following him, so the Purple Heaven Pavilion would certainly attack him. However, he did not expect that the people of the Purple Heaven Pavilion would be so bold as to seal the space-time passage where the secret lair of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance was located. I have reported what happened here to the higher-ups, but the higher-ups said that they would ask for your opinion. If you find it troublesome, the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance will come out directly and send the people of the Purple Heaven Pavilion away. Of course, if the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance does not want the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance to come out, the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance can completely ignore this matter and let you and the Purple Heaven Pavilion deal with it themselves, the white-robed man said humbly. The reason why he was humble was that he had just received an order from his superior. How could someone from his superior ask for Jian Wushuang's opinion? Just this alone showed that Jian Wushuang's identity was extraordinary. It's better for me to solve the problem by myself. I won't need the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance's help for the time being, Jian Wushuang said. In that case, the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance will completely ignore this matter. Even if the Purple Heaven Pavilion seals time and space, the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance will ignore it and let you solve everything yourself. Of course, even if the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance doesn't intervene, this is the mystic realm of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance. No matter how bold the people of the Purple Heaven Pavilion are, they won't dare to break into this place and attack. You can rest assured about this, the white-robed man said. Yes. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly. The white-robed man immediately took his leave. After the white-robed man left, Jian Wushuang took out a message token. This message token belonged to Mo Shan. Mo Shan already knew that he was in trouble, so he personally sent a message to him asking if he wanted the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance to help him. Of course, Jian Wushuang refused. But just as he refused Mo Shan, someone else immediately sent him a message. This time, it was Jiu Luo who sent him a message. Jiu Luo was also a friend of Jian Wushuang. They had talked about the communication token before. Brother Heaven Marquis, I heard that you are in trouble, Jiu Luo said directly. How do you know? Jian Wushuang was surprised. I didn't know. It was Lord Baiju who told me. Jiu Luo said, Lord Baiju. Jian Wushuang's expression changed. Lord Baiju, the principal's master from the Dao Palace, had offered him a very attractive condition to join the Dao Palace. Lord Baiju knew that you were in trouble, but he didn't have your communication token, so he found him and asked me to send you a message on his behalf. Chapter 3132. Exchange. Master Baiju asked if you need help. If you need help, he will come forward and guarantee that the Purple Cloud Pavilion won't dare to touch you, Jiu Luo said. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang smiled. He had just refused the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance and Mo Shan, and now Baiju came again. However, Jian Wushuang was also surprised by Dao Palace's methods. It was normal for the higher-ups of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance to know that he was in trouble because he was in the mystic realm of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance. However, Baiju was a member of Dao Palace, so he already knew about it. The power of the 3 freedom alliances in the divine beginning world was not to be underestimated. Jiu Luo, thank Lord Baiju for me. Tell him that I thank him for his kindness. As for this trouble, I can handle it myself, Jian Wushuang said. Good, then you are careful. Jiu Luo said a sentence, then interrupted the transmission. Jian Wushuang shook his head and smiled. Then he set off for Treasure Pavilion. Outside the Nest of the Void, the Heart Wizard, several people have now joined with the dragon Egret. In front of them is the brown-haired old man. Xian Wu, listen to me. The Heaven-Cleaving Alliance will not care about what happened between you and the Heavenly Sword Marquis. However, there is one thing. Do not implicate the other members of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance. In addition, do not make a move in the lair of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance. Otherwise, not only you, but even your Purple Cloud Pavilion will be finished. After the brown-haired old man finished speaking, he turned around and left. Xian Wu, Long Lu, and the others stood there with extremely strange expressions on their faces. The Heaven-Cleaving Alliance is actually ignoring this matter. Ignoring it? In other words, they allowed us to seal this space-time? It seems like that's the case. How is that possible? Since when did the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance become so easy to talk to? Long Lu and the others were very confused, especially Long Lu. He had thought that the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance would definitely be furious and might directly teach them a lesson or even kill them. Even if they did not do anything, they would definitely ask them to remove the space-time blockade around them. But in the end, the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance did not do that. Instead, they let them be and completely ignored this matter. It's a little strange, but the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance doesn't care about this matter. This is a good thing for us. The bald old man, Xian Wu, who was wearing a black robe with a round collar, said in a cold voice, "Elder Xian Wu, although the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance doesn't intend to interfere in this matter, they also warned us not to make a move in the nest. If that's the case, if Heavenly Sword Marquis hides in the nest all the time, won't we be unable to do anything to him?" Long Lu said with a frown, "That's indeed the case." Xian Wu nodded. "However, according to what you said, Heavenly Sword Marquis is only a rank 3 true saint, yet he was able to kill my disciple head-on. His talent is bound to be shocking. If such a super genius is trapped here by us all the time, then it will be very difficult for him to truly display his talent. This is definitely not what he wants, so he will definitely think of a way to come out from inside. We don't have to worry. As long as the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance doesn't chase us away, well, wait outside the mystic realm." Xian Wu's eyes were cold, and his heart was filled with shocking killing intent. Chu Yixiao was his disciple, and he was the favorite among his disciples. Now that Chu Yixiao was killed by Jian Wushuang, he would definitely find ways to avenge Chu Yixiao. Even if he had to stay outside the nest for thousands of years, he would never give up. The heart which had already made up her mind and was waiting outside the realm. In the mystic realm, Jian Wushuang had already arrived at the treasure pavilion. Lord Tiansuo, Jian Wushuang, looked at the golden light in front of him and immediately bowed. "What do you need?" Lord Tiansuo's expression was still cold. "I want to exchange for 1 universe crystal." Jian Wushuang directly took out a universe crystal. Shui Bei gave him a total of 10 universe crystals. He had used one to exchange for the 2nd volume of the Gold-Splitting Secret Manual, but now Jian Wushuang was here to exchange for the 2nd one. As before, 1 universe crystal is worth 5 billion holy elixirs, Lord Tiansuo said. "Okay." Jian Wushuang nodded slightly. He had exchanged 5 billion holy elixirs for universe crystals. Over the years, Jian Wushuang had killed many experts and collected many resources and treasures. In this mission, he had killed nearly 30 true saint experts, including Divine Level 4, and then more than a dozen experts, including Chu Yixiao, during the Great War. Many of these experts were powerful and had a lot of wealth. It should be about 4 billion holy elixirs. 5 billion and 4 billion, that was 5 billion. With such a huge amount of holy elixirs, Jian Wushuang naturally had to exchange for the treasures he needed in the treasure pavilion. An hour passed in the blink of an eye. During this hour, Jian Wushuang had used up all of the 5 billion holy elixirs. He first exchanged for a special secret manual called 9 Serenities Reincarnation Strategy, which was worth 4 billion holy elixirs. 9 Serenities Reincarnation Strategy was similar to Gold-Splitting Secret Manual in nature. The Gold-Splitting Secret Manual was left behind by a powerful principles master, which perfectly dissected the space-time principles. It was very useful for Jian Wushuang to comprehend the space-time principles. 9 Serenities Reincarnation Strategy was also left behind by the principles master, which also dissected the principles. However, 9 Serenities Reincarnation Strategy dissected the reincarnation principles. there were only 2 parts of the 9 Serenities reincarnation strategy. Jian Wushuang had exchanged for the upper part and spent a total of 4 billion holy elixirs. Although these 4 billion holy elixirs were extremely valuable, Jian Wushuang knew that the 9 Serenities reincarnation strategy would definitely be of great help to him in comprehending samsara rules. It would not be less valuable than the comprehension of time and space from the gold-splitting secret manual. Subsequently, Jian Wushuang spent a total of 3 billion holy elixirs to exchange for the sword principal trial tower of the black grade. Jian Wushuang had experienced the sword principal trial tower before. In his previous life, he had met a super expert in sword principle, Di Shursan. Di Shursan had thought of a way to let him cultivate in the sword principal trial tower for 1,000 years. During that 1,000 years, Jian Wushuang had opened a new door to the sword principle. The reason why he was able to improve his sword principle so quickly was definitely related to the 1,000 years. In this life, especially now that he had stepped into the first heaven, he knew that the sword principal trial tower that Di Shursan had given him before was only the lowest level. It was specially prepared for some people who had just entered the sword principle. The black grade sword principal trial tower that Jian Wushuang had exchanged for was specially prepared for some powerful immortal saints. As long as they were good at sword principle, they could use it from a rank 1 true saint to a rank 7 true saint. Jian Wushuang could also use this sword principle trial tower to improve his understanding of sword principle and to hone his swordsmanship. Chapter 3133. Cultivation. Jian Wushuang had spent 7 billion holy elixirs on the 9 Serenities reincarnation strategy and the black level sword principle trial tower alone. As for the remaining 5 billion holy elixirs, Jian Wushuang had exchanged 2 billion holy elixirs for an emperor-level saint-breaking elixir. He had also exchanged 2 billion holy elixirs for a total of 20 drops of the cold blood poison, averaging 1 drop of 100 million holy elixirs. As for the last 500 million holy pills, Jian Wushuang used them all to exchange for divine power fruit. In the secret chamber, Jian Wushuang sat alone, with his legs crossed, looking very calm. The purple cloud pavilion has sealed off the time and space around this mystic realm. I can't leave in a short time. Since I can't leave, I might as well stay in this nest and cultivate. It just so happens that I need time to cultivate. When I'm strong enough to deal with the experts of the purple cloud pavilion, it'll go out, Jian Wushuang muttered. He already had an idea in his mind. Jian Wushuang immediately began to cultivate. A dark and boundless void. This was the black level sword principal trial tower. Jian Wushuang stood in the middle of this dark void, and in front of him, a black-clothed figure stood coldly. Trial taker, use all your strength and defeat me. You can meet your next opponent. The black-clothed figure said coldly. Jian Wushuang flipped his palm, and the Blood Mountain sword appeared in his hand. Swish! The dazzling sword light lit up the entire dark void. Jian Wushuang had already made his move and started a fierce battle with the first opponent of the sword principal trial tower. Time passed quickly. Time passed mercilessly. In a flash, 90 years had passed. 90 years was nothing to an ordinary immortal saint. During these 90 years, the Heart Wizard, Long Lu, and other experts of the Purple Cloud Pavilion had been guarding outside the realm. The space and time where the nest was located had been sealed. The Heart Wizard was still waiting for Jian Wushuang to come out of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance's realm. At this moment, in a vast chaotic void far away, Mo Shan, the three-eyed man, and the green-haired woman, these 3 high-level experts of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance, gathered together, drinking and chatting. These three people had broken through to become principals masters a long time ago, and their strength had almost reached their limits. It was very difficult for them to have the chance to improve again unless they went to the universe battlefield. Thus, the three of them were very free on normal days. Emotion, how is that little guy called Heavenly Sword Marquis now? The three-eyed man asked. He is still the same. He has been cultivating in seclusion in that mystic realm, and the people of the Purple Cloud Pavilion have been waiting outside. Emotion said, I don't know what this little guy is thinking. We only need him to say a word, and our heaven-cleaving alliance will naturally send the people of the Purple Cloud Pavilion away for him. But he insisted on acting tough. Now, he has been trapped in this mystic realm and can't get out, and the people of the Purple Cloud Pavilion seem to be watching him closely. They won't give him a chance at all, the three-eyed man said. He's not trying to be brave. He just doesn't want to owe us a favor. Emotion said. He doesn't owe us a favor. How can he solve the crisis in front of him by himself? Does he think that he will leave after hiding in the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance's realm for a long time? That's too naive, the three-eyed man said. I don't know, but from what I know about this little guy, he must have his own plans. Let's ignore him and just watch quietly. I'm looking forward to seeing if this little guy can give us another surprise. Emotion said. Surprise. The three-eyed man and the blue-haired woman looked at each other and shook their heads helplessly. In fact, with the style of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance, they would never allow the Purple Cloud Pavilion to seal the space-time around the nest. They allowed it now because they had a little expectation for Jian Wushuang. They wanted to see how Jian Wushuang could solve the crisis alone. Let's keep watching. Emotion smiled, but he had a certain confidence in Jian Wushuang. In the mystic realm of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance, which had been sealed by time and space, Buzz, the endless power of reincarnation principles filled the entire secret chamber, and the power of reincarnation principles was completely centered on Jian Wushuang. When Jian Wushuang opened his eyes, the power of reincarnation principles around him disappeared instantly. Jian Wushuang exhaled lightly, but a faint smile appeared on his face. After comprehending it for such a long time, I finally comprehended the first Tao of the 6 paths of reincarnation. Jian Wushuang was also quite excited. The 6 paths of reincarnation was the biggest opportunity he had obtained in the heaven-cleaving mystic realm. It was a powerful secret skill that was comparable to the space-time divine skill and might even be a little stronger. However, although he had obtained the complete inheritance of this secret skill, he had never truly mastered it. After all, this secret skill was very profound and required a very high level of comprehension of reincarnation principles. Previously, Jian Wushuang was barely qualified to comprehend the secret skill. But now, after 90 years of cultivation, although he spent most of his time on sword principle cultivation, he still left a lot of time to comprehend the principles and secret skills. With the help of the gold-splitting secret manual, he had made great progress in the space-time principles. In the reincarnation principles, he had also made great progress in the past 90 years because of the 9 Serenities reincarnation strategy. Jian Wushuang had spent 8 years to master the first Tao of the 6 paths of reincarnation. I wonder how powerful the first Tao of the 6 paths of reincarnation will be with my current strength. Jian Wushuang was looking forward to it. However, he knew that he had no chance to try it now. He was now in the lair of the heaven-cleaving mystic realm, so he could not practice such a powerful secret skill. If he left the lair, the people of the Purple Cloud Pavilion would immediately attack him. There's no hurry. I have mastered the secret skill, so I have plenty of time to use it in the future. Jian Wushuang smiled and began to calculate his current strength. Over the past 90 years of cultivation, he had made great progress, especially in sword principle. with the help of the gold-splitting secret manual and the black-grade sword principle trial tower, his understanding of the sword principle had greatly improved. Now, the boundless sword tree in his body had risen from 99,000 feet to 16,500 feet. The power of his swordsmanship was even more terrifying. As for his sword techniques, the unparalleled sword manual he created had already reached the level of a 5th-level ultimate skill. But in the past 50 years, he had been creating new worlds in the sword principle trial tower, making continuous breakthroughs and advancing by leaps and bounds. Chapter 31-34. Breakthrough. I have made great progress in sword principle and swordsmanship, and my comprehension of the principles has improved a lot. If I go all out now, it will not be difficult for me to fight against a rank 6 true saint. I can even suppress an ordinary rank 6 true saint, but this strength alone is not enough. Jian Wushuang frowned. There were several experts from the Purple Cloud Pavilion waiting for him outside, all of whom were at least rank 6 true saints. Elder Xian Wu was a genuine rank 7 true saint. With his current strength, he could not deal with them alone. Although I'm not strong enough, I've improved my strength to the extreme in the past 90 years. If I want to improve my strength again, I have to make a breakthrough in my realm. Jian Wushuang narrowed his eyes. A breakthrough in realm. He had made a breakthrough from a rank 1 true saint to a rank 3 true saint in the heaven-cleaving mystic realm. In the past 90 years, he had consumed a lot of divine power fruits and accumulated his divine power very quickly. Now he had reached the limit of a rank 3 true saint and was only one step away from a rank 4 true saint. However, it was not a step that could be crossed easily. I have reached the limit of my divine power. Under normal circumstances, I need to travel outside and find a way to break through it. But now, I don't have such conditions. I have no choice but to place my hopes on the elixir. Jian Wushuang's expression was solemn. He flipped his hand, and a scarlet gold elixir appeared in his hand. This elixir was the Emperor-grade saint-breaking elixir that Jian Wushuang had spent 2 billion holy elixirs to exchange for. The Emperor-grade saint-breaking elixir, as its name implied, was used to help true saint experts break through their realm by force. Its value was extremely high, and it was very rare. Jian Wushuang was able to exchange for this elixir in the Treasure Pavilion because he was a heaven-grade member of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance. According to Sir Tiansuo, the Emperor-grade saint-breaking elixir can play a certain role even for cultivators above rank 5 or rank 6. Under normal circumstances, those who have reached the limit of rank 5 or rank 6 have a 10% chance of breaking through their bottleneck after consuming the Emperor-grade saint-breaking elixir. I just want to break through from a rank 3 true saint to a rank 4 true saint. In addition, my comprehension of the principles and the Tao have long surpassed that of a rank 3 true saint. My foundation is absolutely perfect. In my current state, if I take this Emperor-grade saint-breaking elixir, the chances of successfully breaking through the bottleneck and reaching rank 4 true saint are at least 30% or even 40%. Jian Wushuang clenched his hands. The 30% or even 40% chance was already very high. Because of this, Jian Wushuang had previously exchanged 2 billion holy elixirs for this Emperor-grade saint-breaking elixir. I'll take my chances. Jian Wushuang's eyes turned cold. He glanced at the Emperor-grade saint-breaking elixir in his hand and swallowed it without hesitation. As soon as the Emperor-grade saint-breaking elixir entered his body, it instantly turned into hot energy and began to surge in his body. Jian Wushuang suddenly felt his whole body become hot and scalding. The heat continued to rise, and his face became redder and redder. Time passed. After an unknown amount of time, the hot energy in Jian Wushuang's body finally reached its peak. At this moment, he felt as if he was being burned by endless flames, and his entire body turned red. It's starting. Jian Wushuang endured the pain of the scorching energy devouring his body and began to stop the majestic divine power from attacking the bottleneck. At the same time, the scorching energy completely merged with Jian Wushuang's divine power. Bang! 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 The crazy attacks repeatedly caused the veins on Jian Wushuang's forehead to bulge. At the same time, a large amount of divine power and scorching energy were being consumed rapidly. In the blink of an eye, Jian Wushuang had attacked the bottleneck 7 times. However, the bottleneck was only slightly shaken. This is my last chance. If I don't succeed, I'll die. Jian Wushuang's expression was solemn, and a hint of madness appeared in his eyes. The remaining divine power in his body had completely merged with the scorching energy. In the next moment, he rushed toward the bottleneck like a torrent of steel. Bang! A low sound came from Jian Wushuang's body. His body trembled, and he also felt a sharp pain in his body. However, under the pain, Jian Wushuang did not show any pain. On the contrary, he was ecstatic, because he had already sensed that the calm center had been broken by his last attack. I've made a breakthrough. Jian Wushuang clenched his hands, and the surrounding power of heaven and earth immediately surged toward him like crazy. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Jian Wushuang's divine power and divine body also began to transform. From a rank 3 true saint to a rank 4 true saint, it seemed to be only a small breakthrough. However, it must be known that the gap between each realm was very wide. Jian Wushuang's overall strength had improved greatly after breaking through from a rank 3 true saint to a rank 4 true saint. In just half a day, Jian Wushuang had completely completed his transformation. Everything had calmed down in the secret chamber. Jian Wushuang was still sitting cross-legged, with his eyes open. At this moment, he was carefully feeling the divine power in his body, which was more than 10 times stronger than before. When he had just entered the 3rd rank true saint realm, the power of his divine power was comparable to that of an ordinary 5th rank true saint. After reaching the peak of the 3rd rank, the power of his divine power should be comparable to that of a peak 5th rank true saint. Now that he had reached the 4th rank true saint realm, it was no surprise that his divine power alone was comparable to that of a 6th rank true saint. If combined with his several secret skills, his divine power might not be comparable to that of a 6th rank true saint. Moreover, he had just made a breakthrough. Jian Wushuang suddenly waved his hand, and numerous high-level divine power fruits appeared in front of him. Divine power fruits were used to store divine power. Jian Wushuang had exchanged some of them. In the past 90 years, he had accumulated his divine power to the peak of rank 3 true saint. He had used up a lot of divine power fruits, but there were still some left. Now, Jian Wushuang took out these divine power fruits and swallowed them all without hesitation. Each of these divine power fruits provided Jian Wushuang with a lot of divine power, which made his divine power more and more abundant. In a few days, Jian Wushuang had devoured and refined all the divine power fruits. However, these divine power fruits only allowed Jian Wushuang to reach the level of an advanced rank 4 true saint. There was still a gap between him and the peak of rank 4. Chapter 30:135. The mission. It seems that I have to find the Lord to exchange for some divine power fruits. Jian Wushuang murmured, stood up, and walked out of the secret skill. The mystic realm Jian Wushuang was in the first sky, unlike in the endless territory, where there were many experts. In the hall, there were many members of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance gathered. Some wore the special clothes of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance and masks, but some did not. The entire hall was very lively. Jian Wushuang did not wear a mask. He just changed his original appearance slightly. He had always used this appearance. When he walked out of the room and came to the hall, the entire hall immediately fell silent. Many people looked at Jian Wushuang with strange gazes. Some were curious, some were surprised, and some were gloating. Is he Heavenly Sword Marquis? It's him. It's because of him that the mystic realm we're in is sealed by the Purple Cloud Pavilion, so we can't even use the space passage. The space-time seal has been in place for 90 years. During those 90 years, the Heavenly Sword Marquis stayed in the secret chamber and said that he was cultivating in seclusion. But from what I can see, he didn't dare to go out, so he had to hide. That's normal. If it were me, I would have to hide under such circumstances. I don't believe that the Purple Cloud Pavilion would dare to seal this place forever. I heard that when the Purple Cloud Pavilion sealed this place up 90 years ago, the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance asked the Heavenly Sword Marquis if they wanted to help him get rid of the people from the Purple Cloud Pavilion. In the end, they were rejected by him. He said that it was his fault and that he could handle it himself. There was no need for the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance to do anything. Handle it himself? He's a rank 3 true saint. Oh no. He seems to have broken through to the rank 4 true saint now. But even so, how could he handle it by himself? In my opinion, he's suffering because he wants to save face. Now, the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance obviously won't pay attention to this matter, and he can only hide in this nest like a coward. In the hall, many members of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance were chatting casually, and many of them looked at Jian Wushuang with a hint of ridicule, because in their eyes, Jian Wushuang really wanted to save face. It would have been great if the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance had appeared before, but now he had to hide in this mystic realm. Jian Wushuang also noticed these mocking gazes, but he did not care at all. Under the gaze of these people, Jian Wushuang had already come to the counter. "My young friend, how can I help you?" The brown-haired elder at the counter was still very humble and polite to Jian Wushuang. "I want to ask how many experts of the Purple Cloud Pavilion are staying outside, and what level they are at," Jian Wushuang said. "Well, I do know." The brown-haired elder smiled. "There are 6 experts of the Purple Cloud Pavilion staying outside the nest. 5 of them are rank 6 true saints, besides an ordinary deacon of rank 6 true saints. The other 4 are at the peak of rank 6. As for the last one, you should know that he is Elder Xian Wu of the Purple Cloud Pavilion. He is a very powerful rank 7 true saint. Although he is not at the peak of rank 7, he is more powerful than an ordinary peak rank 7 true saint." Hearing this, Jian Wushuang narrowed his eyes. A powerful rank 7 true saint for peak rank 6 true saints, and an ordinary 6 true saints in the outside world. This lineup was very strong. Elder Xian Wu really thought highly of him. "After cultivating in seclusion for 90 years, my strength has indeed soared. In addition, I just broke through to rank 4 true saint. Now, I can deal with a rank 6 true saint easily, but the key is Xinwu." Jian Wushuang frowned slightly. Although Xian Wu was not at the peak of rank 7, she was more difficult to deal with than an ordinary rank 7 peak true saint. Such an expert was not something Jian Wushuang could deal with at the moment. However, if he wanted to walk out of this nest, he would have to face the heart, which head-on. "I have no choice but to ask for help," Jian Wushuang thought to himself. Of course, he did not mean to ask for help directly from the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance or the Dao Palace, but to issue a mission. "Sir, I want to know what price an expert at the peak of rank 7 would have to pay in the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance." Jian Wushuang asked. "An expert at the peak of rank 7? The brown-haired elder looked at Jian Wushuang in surprise. He had probably figured out what Jian Wushuang was going to do. A true saint at the peak of rank 7 is already a top-notch true saint expert, although there are also invincible true saints. A true saint at the peak of rank 7 is definitely a top-notch expert, even in the second heaven, let alone in the first heaven. The price to hire such an expert is not cheap, the brown-haired elder said in a deep voice. I know the price is not low, but how much do you need? Jian Wushuang asked. At least 5 billion holy elixirs. It will take some time before a rank 7 peak true saint comes to accept the mission, the brown-haired elder said. 5 billion. Jian Wushuang nodded secretly. The price was not far from what he had expected. 5 billion holy elixirs was an astronomical figure for an ordinary true saint, even for many rank 6 true saints. But it was not too much for a rank 7 true saint. After all, many rank 7 true saints had more than 5 billion holy elixirs. It was not too much to ask a rank 7 peak true saint to help once. 5 billion holy elixirs were more or less enough. How about this? I'll give you 7 billion holy elixirs. I want you to give me a task immediately and ask a rank 7 peak true saint to come, Jian Wushuang said. 7 billion. The brown-haired elder's pupils suddenly constricted. Jian Wushuang was only a rank 3 true saint before. Even if he made a breakthrough now, he was only a rank 4 true saint. How could he give 7 billion holy elixirs? If it's 7 billion holy elixirs, there should be many rank 7 peak true saints willing to accept this mission, right? Jian Wushuang asked. Of course. The brown-haired elder said. 5 billion holy elixirs were not enough to hire a rank 7 peak true saint, but 7 billion holy elixirs is more than enough. If nothing goes wrong, once this mission is issued, someone will accept it in 2 days at most. That's good. Jian Wushuang nodded. My young friend, the 7 billion holy elixirs. The brown-haired elder looked at Jian Wushuang. Wait a moment. Jian Wushuang went directly to the treasure pavilion. He did not have 7 billion holy elixirs, but he still had 8 universe crystals in his hand. He could get one from Lord Tianshou. Chapter 31-36. Dao Dragon Jian Wushuang exchanged 1 universe crystal for 5 billion holy elixirs, of which 500 million holy elixirs were used to exchange for divine power fruits. After all, he was only a rank 4 advanced true saint, and was still far from the peak. The 500 million divine power fruits were enough for him to reach the rank 4 peak true saint, and even the limit of rank 4 in a short period of time. The remaining 7 billion holy elixirs were all used to issue missions. Jian Wushuang's mission was to ask a rank 7 peak true saint to help him, and the reward was 7 billion. This mission had already reached the emperor level. The members of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance were divided into ordinary members, Earth-level members, Heaven-level members, Emperor-level members, and the last primitive-level members. Naturally, there were also ordinary, Earth-level, Heaven-level, and Emperor-level missions. The mission that Jian Wushuang issued now was an Emperor-level mission. Naturally, those who were qualified to accept the Emperor-level mission were the members of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance who were above the Emperor level, experts gathered in the first heaven, and there were many kinds of missions in the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance, but Emperor-level missions were still very rare. Moreover, the mission that Jian Wushuang issued this time had a reward of 7 billion holy elixirs. Therefore, when the mission was issued, it immediately caused a great shock. Many Emperor-level members were interested in this mission. This was a mystic realm in the core of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance. In the hall, a large number of experts of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance gathered in 2s and 3s, chatting casually, due to the geographical location. The heaven-cleaving alliance members who appeared in this mystic realm were generally of higher levels and were extremely strong. At this moment, two figures were sitting opposite each other in front of a table. In front of them was a list of tasks. 7 billion holy elixirs. It's only for a rank 7 peak true saint to take action once. The reward for this task is quite high, a burly man said frankly. His voice was not concealed at all. It reverberated throughout the hall, attracting the attention of many people. Inviting a rank 7 peak true saint to take action. 5 billion holy elixirs would normally be enough, but this mission actually offered a price of 7 billion. The other red-haired old man smiled indifferently. However, when the two carefully read the mission's contents, they immediately felt relieved. No wonder the reward is so high. So, this mission also has to offend the Purple Cloud Pavilion. The Purple Cloud Pavilion is an absolute overlord in the first heaven. Not only do they have many peak true saints, they even have a principal's master personally overseeing them. There's no need to necessarily offend such a sect. It's not wise to do so, the burly man said. Indeed. Moreover, this mission has already stated that the rank 7 peak true saint we invited must be able to deal with the heart shaman head-on. I've heard of the heart shaman, one of the elders of the Purple Cloud Pavilion. Although he hasn't reached the rank 7 peak true saint yet, his methods are extremely formidable. He's even more difficult to deal with than an ordinary rank 7 peak true saint. Moreover, this person is narrow-minded and will fight over every penny. This time, he's doing it to reward his personal disciple. If any of us try to stop him, we will definitely be targeted by him. The red-haired old man shook his head with a smile. The two of them were Emperor-level members of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance. One of them was at the peak of the 7th rank, while the other was infinitely close to the peak of the 7th rank. The reward of 7 billion holy elixirs for this mission. It was indeed attractive to the two of them, but they obviously had no intention of accepting this mission. After all, neither the Purple Cloud Pavilion nor the Heart Shaman was easy to deal with. The two of them did not intend to accept this mission. However, at a table beside them, a long-haired handsome man who was drinking alone slowly stood up and walked toward the counter. "Give me a list of missions," the long-haired handsome man said indifferently. His voice was a little hoarse, but it was very magnetic. "Lord Dao Dragon, this is the list you asked for." The green-clothed woman at the counter was a rank 6 true saint and a member of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance. However, when she faced the long-haired handsome man, she was very respectful. The long-haired handsome man took the list and glanced at it briefly. He saw one of the Emperor-level tasks. This Emperor-level task was the one Jian Wushuang had issued. "I accept this task," the long-haired handsome man said directly. The green-clothed woman's expression changed, and she immediately nodded. "Okay, please wait a moment, Lord." The green-clothed woman immediately completed the next step for the long-haired handsome man, and the latter also accepted the task. This mission was originally a single mission, and only one person was needed to complete it. Now that the long-haired handsome man had accepted it, no one else could accept it. "Lord Dao Dragon, since you've already accepted this mission, then, according to the request of the person who issued the mission, you need to rush to the nest he's in at the fastest speed possible. However, the space-time of his nest has already been sealed, and you can't directly use the spatial passage to reach it. Therefore, Lord Dao Dragon needs to rush to the nest nearby first, and then rely on your own strength to rush there," the green-clothed woman said. "Yes, you can tell him that I'm leaving now and will arrive in 10 days, the long-haired handsome man said. "Okay." The cyan-robed woman immediately sent the message. The long-haired, handsome man immediately rushed to Jian Wushuang's nest through the space passage. Jian Wushuang's nest. My young friend, someone has already accepted the mission and is rushing here. The brown-haired elder appeared in front of Jian Wushuang. So fast. Jian Wushuang's eyes lit up. It had only been half a day since he issued the mission, and someone had already accepted the mission. It seemed that the reward of 7 billion holy elixirs was very attractive. I wonder who accepted the mission. Does he have the ability to fight against the mind witch? Jian Wushuang asked. Don't worry, my friend. Your task requirement has clearly stated that you must deal with the mind witch alone, so that the mind witch has no room to fight. The Heaven-Cleaving Alliance will naturally choose a person for you according to this requirement. If the other party's strength doesn't meet the requirement, it's impossible for him to accept the task. Moreover, the person who accepted the task is called Dao Dragon. I just heard of him. With his strength, he can deal with 2 mind witches even if they are tied together. The brown-haired elder said confidently. Oh, Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows. Since the brown-haired old man was so confident, it meant that the expert named Dao Dragon must be very powerful. My young friend, Lord Dao Dragon, has already set off and is rushing here. He said that he will be here in 10 days, the brown-haired old man said. 10 days. Jian Wushuang could not help but smile. I also need a few days to absorb the divine power fruits. When I refine all of them and reach the peak of rank 4, or even the limit, my strength will be even stronger. Chapter 31-37 was out. 10 days passed quickly. During these 10 days, Jian Wushuang had refined all the divine power fruits he had exchanged for, and his divine power had reached the limit of a rank 4 true saint. As for Lord Dao Dragon, he could not directly reach the nest through the space-time tunnel, so he could only teleport to the nearest nest. However, he had to rely on his legs to get there. In the space-time that was sealed, Xian Wu and the other 6 experts from the Purple Cloud Pavilion had been waiting there. They were very patient. However, at this moment, a figure rushed over from the distant space, directly passing through their space-time seal and entering the nest in front. Regarding this, the few experts from the Purple Cloud Pavilion were not surprised. Although they sealed space-time, they did not have the courage to restrict the freedom of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance's experts. Therefore, the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance's experts were allowed to enter and exit. Only the heart shaman's expression suddenly changed when he saw that figure. That person just now is him? The heart shaman had already seen the person's face clearly and knew his identity. He actually came to this nest. I hope he is just passing by and has nothing to do with the Heavenly Sword Marquis. Otherwise, it will be troublesome. The heart shaman frowned and muttered in his heart, "In the nest. Heavenly Marquis, let me introduce you. This is Lord Dao Dragon, an Emperor-level member of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance," the brown-haired elder said. "Lord Dao Dragon," Jian Wushuang called out humbly. At the same time, he raised his head to observe Lord Dao Dragon. He had a slender figure and long hair that reached his waist. His narrow eyes were unusually cold, and his expression was indifferent, as if he had nothing to do with the world. He gave Jian Wushuang the feeling that he was extremely ethereal and even a little aloof. As for his strength, although Jian Wushuang could not see through Dao Dragon's strength, Dao Dragon standing in front of him gave Jian Wushuang an invisible pressure. Although this pressure was not comparable to the pressure from the principal's master, it was very close. Dao Dragon's strength is indeed extraordinary. Jian Wushuang understood. When I entered the nest, I found 5 6th-level true saints besides the mind which guarding the outside world. Dao Dragon said coldly. Lord Dao Dragon, said that you only need to deal with the Mind Witch. As for the rank 6 true saints, I can deal with them freely, Jian Wushuang said. Okay, when are you going out? Dao Dragon looked at him. Right now. Jian Wushuang smiled. Dao Dragon nodded slightly, and then the two walked out of the nest. There were many members of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance in the nest hall. They had noticed Jian Wushuang's movements. Is he finally going out? It seems so. I thought he would hide in the nest. I didn't expect him to dare to go out. Oh, right. Who is that person beside him? He seems to be very strong. Seems to be very strong? What a joke. That's Lord Dao Dragon. I've seen him fight with my own eyes. He's a rank 7 peak true saint with terrifying strength. There are even rumors that he's infinitely close to being invincible. So it's him. No wonder Heavenly Sword Marquis dared to walk out. It turns out that he invited Lord Dao Dragon to support him. The entire hall was abuzz with discussion. While they were discussing, these people also began to look forward to it. One had to know that the 6 heart shamans of the Purple Cloud Pavilion had been waiting outside for a full 90 years. Moreover, they had been sealing off space and time. One could imagine how much they wanted to kill the Heavenly Sword Marquis. Previously, they had all thought that the Heavenly Sword Marquis could only hide in this nest. However, Heavenly Sword Marquis had invited Lord Dao Dragon. Let's go out. Let's go out and take a look. On one side are the 6 experts of Purple Cloud Pavilion led by Heart Shaman, and on the other side is the famous Lord Dao Long. The clash between the two sides is really exciting. The Heaven-Cleaving Alliance members in the nest also rushed out of the nest and appeared in the void. In the void outside the nest, Xian Wu and the others had been watching the movement in the nest. Suddenly, 2 figures flew out of the nest. One of them was Heavenly Sword Marquis, whom they had been waiting for 90 years. He's out. He's finally out. Haha, he's finally willing to come out. Long Lu and the others were very excited, but Xian Wu frowned. Of course, he saw Jian Wushuang, but at the same time, he also saw the long-haired handsome man next to Jian Wushuang. Dao Long, it's really the guy who asked for help. Xian Wu clenched his hands and shouted coldly, Dao Dragon, this has nothing to do with you, right? Dao Dragon! Hearing this name, Long Lu and the other 5 rank 6 true saints of the Purple Cloud Pavilion were shocked. Dao Dragon was a very famous name in the first heaven. Under normal circumstances, any rank 7 true saint would have heard of this name. Although Long Lu and the others were only rank 6 true saints, they were not unfamiliar with the name Dao Dragon. This was because Dao Dragon had interacted with the Purple Cloud Pavilion more than once, and their enmity was very deep. Dao Dragon had once fought head-on with the Purple Cloud Pavilion. The Purple Cloud Pavilion had even sent several peak immortal saints to surround and kill Dao Dragon. In the end, Dao Dragon had escaped, and even the Invincible Saint had personally made a move. Unfortunately, although the Invincible Saint could suppress Dao Dragon, he was not able to kill him. Even the Invincible Saint had personally made a move, but he was not able to kill Dao Dragon. In the entire Purple Cloud Pavilion, only the Principal's Master personally made a move and could kill Dao Dragon. However, what kind of status did the Principal's Master have? If he had not reached a certain level, it was impossible for him to kill an immortal saint. Because of this, Dao Dragon was still alive and well. Moreover, because of the huge enmity between the two sides, Dao Dragon would come to trouble the Purple Cloud Pavilion from time to time. This time, Dao Dragon accepted Jian Wushuang's mission not only because of the reward of 7 billion holy elixirs, but also because of Jian Wushuang's opponent and the Purple Cloud's Pavilion. Other rank 7 peak true saints might be afraid of the Purple Cloud Pavilion and would not accept the mission, but Dao Dragon was not afraid. This matter has nothing to do with me, but Heavenly Sword Marquis issued an Emperor-level mission and paid a total of 7 billion holy elixirs, and the target is your Purple Cloud Pavilion. How could I miss it? Dao Dragon's voice was cold. The Heart Shaman's expression sank. You are the Heart Shaman, right? I heard that you are extremely famous within the Purple Cloud Pavilion. You are even more difficult to deal with than an ordinary rank 7 peak true saint. Today, I want to experience it. Dao Dragon spoke in a low voice before waving his hand. Chapter 3138. One heavy blow wung. A large amount of majestic divine power instantly rose up, and in the blink of an eye, it formed a huge sea of divine power. Endless divine power churned like huge waves, slamming toward the Heart Shaman one after another. Humph! The Heart Shaman snorted coldly, but a large amount of black fog immediately erupted from his body. This fog was incomparably black, and it also emitted a foul stench. In the blink of an eye, the two experts had already engaged in a fierce battle. There was no fierce collision of power or even a violent roar. There was only a sizzling sound caused by the continuous erosion and compression of energy. Jian Wushuang, Long Lu, and the others had already retreated to the side. No one dared to get involved in the fierce battle between Dao Dragon and the Mind Witch. Lord Dao Dragon is obviously much stronger than the Heart Witch. With his help, the Heart Witch has no chance to fight at all. What's next? Jian Wushuang's eyes turned slightly cold as he stared at the 5 experts of the Purple Cloud Pavilion. With a flip of his palm, the Blood Mountain Sword appeared in his hand. Long Lu and the other 5 saw Jian Wushuang take out his long sword, and they also sensed the rising battle intent from Jian Wushuang. What is this kid planning to do? He is only a rank 3 true saint. Does he want to fight with us? Humph, who cares? Since he wants to die, we will help him. Guys, let me attack first. Long Lu's killing intent was shocking. He snorted and directly charged toward Jian Wushuang. Buzz, buzz, buzz. A large amount of dark airflow soared into the sky. Long Lu held the long black stick in his hand and burst out his divine power to the limit. When he appeared in front of Jian Wushuang, he smashed the long black stick in his hand. Boom! The long black stick was like a huge mountain crashing toward Jian Wushuang with a rumble. Seeing this, Jian Wushuang smiled indifferently. 90 years ago, I fought with Long Lu head-on. At that time, I used my full strength to use Blood Azura and forced him to retreat. But now, a trace of disdain flashed in Jian Wushuang's eyes. Just as the pitch-black longstaff was about to hit his head, Jian Wushuang suddenly attacked. An extremely terrifying evil aura suddenly burst out. This evil aura was enough to make ordinary cultivators tremble in fear. Jian Wushuang held the sword with one hand. The Blood Mountain Sword had already turned into a bolt of blood-red lightning and struck the pitch-black longstaff in an instant. It was the peerless sword technique, Shi Xiang. The sword light was brutal and invincible. Clang! The sound of metal colliding rang out, and Long Lu's body shook violently. How is this possible? Long Lu raised his head in shock. The next moment, his body shot backward like a cannonball. While retreating, he kept rolling, and it took him a long time to regain his balance. There was also a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth. A rank 4 true saint, and at the peak of rank 4, Long Lu stared at Jian Wushuang in disbelief. 90 years ago, when he fought with Jian Wushuang's divine power aura was obviously at the level of an ordinary rank 3 true saint. But now, he had reached the peak of the rank 4 true saint. His realm, how could he have improved so much all of a sudden? Moreover, he had reached the limit of a rank 4 true saint. How could Jian Wushuang's attack be so powerful? After all, he was a genuine rank 6 true saint. At that moment, he had used all of his strength and used the strongest move he had created. But in the end, he was directly confronted by Jian Wushuang. He had been sent flying by a sword, and his divine body had been seriously injured. How could this be? Not only Long Lu, but also the 4 rank 6 peak true saints from the Purple Cloud Pavilion and all the members of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance who had come out of the lair to watch the show were shocked by this scene. A rank 4 true saint had sent a rank 6 true saint flying with a sword. Not only that, but the divine power of the rank 6 true saint was obviously weakened. Apparently, his divine body was severely injured in the collision, and he used his divine power to repair it. A single strike severely injured a rank 6 true saint. How is this possible? Everyone was in disbelief. Only Jian Wushuang was not surprised by the result. When I was a rank 3 true saint, my divine power was comparable to a rank 5 true saint. When I became a rank 4 true saint, my divine power was at the level of a rank 6 true saint, and so on. Now that I have reached the limit of a rank 4 true saint, my divine power is at the limit of a rank 6 true saint. The divine power of a rank 6 ultimate true saint, the first form of the Shi Xiang, has been greatly improved over the past 90 years by comprehending the gold-splitting secret manual. Now, it has also reached the level of a rank 6 absolute art. In terms of power, it is no weaker than the staff skill of Long Lu. In a situation where the absolute art is equal, the divine power of an ultimate true saint of the 6th rank is naturally stronger than that of an ordinary 6th rank true saint. Moreover, my comprehension of sword principle is also very high. The immeasurable sword tree in my body has reached 16,500 feet. This has already surpassed many top true saints, so the power of my swordsmanship is naturally stronger. All in all, of course, he will be crushed by me. Jian Wushuang felt that it was reasonable, so he did not care about Long Lu. Long Lu, you are not qualified to kill me. It's better for the 4 people behind you to attack. Jian Wushuang's cold voice echoed in the world. Long Lu's face was extremely ugly, but there was nothing he could do. He could only look at the 4 people behind him. The 4 people looked at each other, and then a short elder in dark cyan armor took a step forward. "Brat, let this old man see how much you weigh." The short old man's eyes flashed with lightning, and his body trembled. The aura of a rank 6 peak true saint burst out, and at the same time, a layer of light purple lightning appeared on his body. This light purple lightning was like a layer of lightning armor, and a huge axe appeared in each of his hands. The 2 huge axes were also surrounded by light purple thunderbolts. Jian Wushuang narrowed his eyes. He could see that this short elder was much stronger than Long Lu, and he was definitely very powerful among the true saints at the peak of rank 6. And that was indeed the case. Jian Wushuang had seriously injured Long Lu with one sword strike, which shocked many people, including the 4 true saints at the peak of rank 6. After all, these 4 rank 6 peak true saints came from the Purple Cloud Pavilion. In front of so many people, they had to care about their dignity and identity. It was not good for them to attack a rank 4 true saint at the same time. Therefore, the short elder was the strongest among the 4. Boy, die. The short elder's body burst with evil energy. He dashed out like a purple lightning bolt. Chapter 3139, Dark Dragon Spike, peak of rank 6. Jian Wushuang's eyes focused. He could easily crush Long Lu, who was only at the initial stage of rank 6, with his powerful divine power and the help of the Peerless Sword technique. However, the Peerless Sword technique alone was not enough to defeat a true saint at the peak of rank 6. Condense. Jian Wushuang spat out a word. In an instant, streams of demonic purple light rose up. These demonic purple lights were actually purple sharp swords. Under Jian Wushuang's control, a total of 18 purple sharp swords were instantly assembled together. Buzz, a terrifying reincarnation wave slowly spread out from the void. A black divine sword that looked like an all condensed into form. The black divine sword emitted a dazzling dark light, which was intoxicating. The surface of the dark light was faintly surrounded by layers of black air currents. It was as if a giant dragon was circling around the dark light. The 8th level of the reincarnation sword formation, Dark Dragon Spike. 90 years ago, after coming out of the heaven-cleaving mystic realm, Jian Wushuang's comprehension of the reincarnation principles had already reached a very high level. It had already surpassed his comprehension of space-time principles. At that time, he was able to display the ultimate power of the 7th level of the Samsara sword formation, one emotion thread. During these 90 years, Jian Wushuang had made rapid progress in the space-time principles with the help of the gold-splitting secret manual. However, in the Samsara principles, he also had the 9 Serenities Samsara strategy, which had also carried out a detailed analysis of the Samsara principles. His comprehension of the Samsara principles had also made great progress. Now, he could perform the 8th level of the reincarnation sword formation. Jian Wushuang had already determined that the power of the 8th level of the reincarnation sword formation should not be weaker than a peak level 6 secret skill. With the same divine power, let's see if your axe skill is better or my reincarnation sword formation is better. Jian Wushuang's eyes flashed with a fierce light. The dark light that was like a dragon instantly turned into lightning and shot out. The short elder appeared in front of Jian Wushuang and slashed down with the giant axe in his hand. The moment he slashed down, countless lightning bolts appeared. In an instant, the giant axe collided with the dark light. Clang! With a loud sound, the void suddenly shook. The short elder's face darkened, and his body became unstable. He took 3 steps back, and each step almost caused the void under his feet to explode. As for the dim light surrounding the dragon, it was immediately sent flying by the axe. However, it was only sent flying, and it did not cause the sword array to collapse. From the scene before him, it was clear that this clash was evenly matched. This kid, the short elder's face was ashen. The spectators were all shocked. Evenly matched. He is a rank 4 peak true saint, but he is evenly matched with a rank 6 peak true saint. How is this possible? The gap between the true saint realm is getting bigger and bigger. Even the super geniuses of the 3 palaces and Dao Palace can't challenge a rank 6 peak true saint at the level of a rank 4 peak true saint, right? Everyone was shocked. Jian Wushuang stared at the short elder with a cold face. It's just as I expected. The 8th level of the Samsara sword formation is as powerful as the pinnacle of rank 6. In my current state, I can fight against a true saint at the peak of rank 6. Even if I have to face him head on, I won't be afraid. Again, with a shout, Jian Wushuang controlled the dark light and continued to shoot toward the short elder. Why should I be afraid of you? The short elder's eyes were filled with raging anger. A large number of purple thunderbolts were rolling on his body, and his strength reached its peak at this moment. In the void, the two collided again. To be exact, the short elder's big axe collided with the reincarnation sword formation controlled by Jian Wushuang. Clang, 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 only to hear a low sound of metal constantly ringing throughout the void. Every time the sound is heard, there is an invisible shock wave, wantonly swept out in all directions. And in this collision, it is clear that the two sides have been evenly matched. In a void around, the purple cloud pavilion that a few strong standing together. See the scene in front. These people are not good looking. This kid's battle strength is so strong that even Deacon Chi can't do anything to him. Long Lu said, in terms of strength, Deacon Chi is already the strongest among us. If even he can't do anything to this kid, we naturally can't, a true saint at the peak of rank 6 said. Jian Wushuang's strength was indeed beyond their expectations. They had never thought that a true saint at the peak of rank 4 could reach such a level of battle strength. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and kill that kid. A low shout suddenly came from another battlefield. Long Lu and the others were stunned and immediately looked at the source of the voice. It was naturally the heart who had fought Dao Dragon from the beginning. It was a fact that the heart shaman was very difficult to deal with. Although he was not a rank 7 peak true saint, many rank 7 peak true saints were not willing to fight him. However, Dao Dragon was not one of those rank 7 peak true saints. Dao Dragon was a super expert who dared to clash head-on with the Purple Cloud Pavilion. Even an invincible immortal saint would not be able to do anything to him. His battle prowess far surpassed that of a normal rank 7 peak true saint. Therefore, the battle between the Mind Witch and Dao Dragon began with the Mind Witch being at an absolute disadvantage. Now, the Mind Witch was in an extremely difficult situation. However, he was also trying his best to hold on. He wanted to buy time for these rank 6 true saints so that they could kill Jian Wushuang. But who would have thought that these rank 6 true saints would be so slow to kill Jian Wushuang? Of course, the heart which was angry and anxious. Seeing the situation of the heart which the rank 6 true saints of Purple Cloud Pavilion narrowed their eyes. They looked at each other and made a decision immediately. Let's kill him together. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. The 3 rank 6 peak true saints, together with Long Lu, the initial rank 6 true saint, moved at this moment. Together with Deacon Chi, who had been fighting with Jian Wushuang, there were 5 rank 6 true saints attacking at the same time. This scene made the experts of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance who were watching the fight cry out in surprise. Wow, the rank 6 true saints of the Purple Cloud Pavilion all attacked. Now, Heavenly Sword Marquis is in danger. Humph, a rank 6 peak true saint is going against a rank 4 true saint. How dare they bully him with numbers? Many experts of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance were secretly disdainful. However, it was a fact that the rank 6 true saints of the Purple Cloud Pavilion had all attacked. The pressure on Jian Wushuang instantly increased. Chapter 3140. Sweep, did they all attack? Humph, well done. Jian Wushuang was not angry, but happy when he saw the experts of the Purple Cloud Pavilion attacking. Buzz, a majestic star power burst out from Jian Wushuang's body. The 7-star secret skill was fully activated. The 3rd volume of the 7-star secret skill was enough to increase Jian Wushuang's realm by half a realm. He had already reached the limit of a rank 4 true saint. The increase of half a realm instantly made Jian Wushuang reach the level of a rank 5 true saint. Then, a large amount of golden divine power began to gather behind him, and a huge golden emperor phantom condensed behind him. The difference was that this golden emperor phantom had increased from 300,000 feet to 500,000 feet. In the past 90 years, Jian Wushuang had not only improved his principles and swordsmanship, but also his secret skills. For example, he had improved a lot in the divine punishment realm. The 500,000 feet tall golden emperor phantom looked down at everything in the world and shocked everyone. At the same time, a layer of black gold armor appeared on Jian Wushuang's body. 7-star secret skill, punishment divine realm expert, 9 brilliant star armor, heavenly armor chapter were all used. The supreme sword essence in the Blood Mountain sword also unscrupulously swept out under Jian Wushuang's guidance. At this moment, Jian Wushuang's strength had risen to the peak of his own. Before, my divine power was only comparable to the peak of rank 6, but now, with the use of my secret skill, my divine power has increased by many times. I have a feeling that my strength now definitely surpasses that of an ordinary primary rank 7 true saint. Jian Wushuang clenched his hands as he felt the surge of strength in his body. His eyes shone brightly. In the next moment, Jian Wushuang's terrifying power completely erupted. Samsara sword formation, kill! Jian Wushuang pointed with his big hand. Under the dim light surrounding the giant dragon, it seemed as if a dragon's roar was heard. Then, the dim light expanded and shot toward the short elder in front of him. Deacon Chi. Deacon Chi's body was still covered with a large number of pale purple thunderbolts. When he saw the dim light shooting toward him, he waved the big axe in his hand again, trying to hack the Samsara sword formation back like before. In the blink of an eye, the axe and the dark light collided again. In Deacon Chi's opinion, the result of the same move would definitely be the same. However, in fact, at the moment when the two collided, what? Deacon Chi's pupils suddenly shrank. He had already felt the unbelievable force coming from the dark light. That force was completely beyond what he could bear. Clang! With a loud sound, the axe in Deacon Chi's hand was sent flying, but the dim light continued to attack Deacon Chi's divine body. Puff! Deacon Chi spat out a mouthful of blood and retreated immediately. Level 7. Deacon Chi regained his balance and stared at Jian Wushuang with fear in his eyes. After severely injuring Deacon Chi in the first collision, Jian Wushuang willed the dark light to burst out with terrifying power again, and directly shot toward the experts of the Purple Cloud Pavilion. Be careful! The expressions of the rank 6 true saints of the Purple Cloud Pavilion changed drastically. The dark light arrived in front of a true saint at the peak of rank 6. The true saint at the peak of rank 6 subconsciously waved the huge sword in his hand. The huge sword was thick and powerful, but it could withstand the dark light head-on. Pung! The huge sword was sent flying, and this peak-type rank 6 true saint suffered heavy injuries as well. He retreated explosively. Following that, the dark light shot toward another person. Pung! 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 There were 3 consecutive loud bangs, and the first 2 were loud. The 2 peak-type rank 6 true saints still had some strength, and they were able to obstruct the dark light, preventing it from destroying their divine bodies. They could recover after expending some divine power. However, Long Lu, who was only at the initial type rank 6 true saint realm, was in trouble. The terrifying might of the light was not something Long Lu could withstand. With just a single attack, Long Lu's divine body was instantly destroyed. Silence! The entire world fell silent. Everyone watched on in shock. Even the rank 6 experts of the Purple Cloud Pavilion were stunned. Everyone was stunned. How is this possible? 4 rank 6 peak true saints and an initial rank 6 true saint joined hands to kill a rank 4 true saint, but they were defeated by that rank 4 true saint. Is he really a rank 4 true saint? Why do I feel like he's a rank 7 true saint? A thought appeared in the minds of all the experts present. They had thought that Jian Wushuang would be in big trouble when they saw the experts of Purple Cloud Pavilion attacking at the same time. However, they had not expected that the situation would be completely reversed in just a blink of an eye. For rank 6 peak true saints and 1 initial rank 6 true saint were defeated by Jian Wushuang in just a blink of an eye. Yes, it was a sweep. The 4 rank 6 peak true saints were all severely injured. The initial stage, rank 6 true saint, Long Lu, had his divine body collapsed on the spot. If this was not a sweep, what was it? Under everyone's shocked gazes, Jian Wushuang remained standing in the void with a cold smile on his face. The gap between a rank 6 true saint and a rank 7 true saint is ridiculous. After using a few secret skills, the power of my divine power has already surpassed most of the initial stage rank 7 true saints, and is even close to that of an advanced stage rank 7 true saint. My strength is so much stronger. If I use the 8th reincarnation sword formation, Yu Long Spear, how can these 6th level true saints withstand it? Jian Wushuang sneered in his heart. However, his eyes turned cold, and a killing intent slowly rose from his body. You can't kill me, but I can kill you. Jian Wushuang's voice was cold. The dark light surrounding the giant dragon shook slightly and burst out again, and Jian Wushuang moved at the same time. The moment his body moved, Jian Wushuang waved his hand. Crash! The raging flames, mixed with endless white ice fog, produced endless power of ice and fire. The two natural opposing powers of ice and fire merged perfectly at this moment. The power of ice and fire swept wildly in all directions. In the blink of an eye, it completely covered the surrounding void, forming a huge world of ice and fire. The world of ice and fire was centered around Jian Wushuang. With a thought from Jian Wushuang, the world of ice and fire crazily pressed down on the Purple Pavilion experts in front of him. Under the control of Jian Wushuang's divine power, which was equivalent to that of a rank 7 true saint, the ice and fire swimming dragon ruler instantly burst out with terrifying power. Chapter 3141, Kill Them All One. Endless power of ice and fire swept over, causing Deacon Shi and the others to tremble. This is a domain. It's a domain, but this domain is so strong. It's too strong. This domain is too strong. My strength was actually suppressed by 40% in an instant. The shocked voice came from the Purple Cloud Pavilion's experts. The most terrified one was Long Lu, who had just reconstructed his divine body. 40%. You guys only suppress 40%, but my strength has been suppressed by 70%. Long Lu said in fear. What? Deacon Chi and the others were also shocked. A low-grade rank 6 true saint's strength had been suppressed by 70%. How could this domain be so powerful? What they did not know was that the Icefire Swimming Dragon Ruler was a domain-type true treasure. Under normal circumstances, only Principal's Masters had a true treasure, and domain-type true treasures were extremely rare. Jian Wushuang, who controlled the Icefire Swimming Dragon Ruler, was only a rank 4 true saint. Even if he used all kinds of secret techniques, he could only match the divine power of a rank 7 true saint. If a Principal's Master were to control this true treasure personally, with a thought, the Principal's Master could easily cover an area with the ice and fire domain and crush countless cultivators in the area. Even a rank 7 true saint at the peak of rank 7 could be annihilated. This was how terrifying a domain-type supreme treasure was. Now, Jian Wushuang was using the divine power of a rank 7 true saint to suppress Long Lu, an ordinary rank 6 true saint. Of course, he could suppress 70% of his strength. Heavenly Sword Marquis is much stronger than us. Now that he has used this domain, won't we? Long Lu was still thinking in fear. Suddenly, be careful! A cry of alarm suddenly sounded. Long Lu was shocked and subconsciously turned his head. When he turned his head, he saw Jian Wushuang, who was emitting cold killing intent. Jian Wushuang had a strange smile on his face. When he saw Long Lu, he even winked at him, but the Blood Mountain sword in his hand had already flown straight out. It was the Peerless Sword Manual, Star Dream. Chi. The sword-like cut into Long Lu's divine body. The the divine power of a rank 7 true saint, combined with the rank 6 absolute art. Star Dream burst out with a terrifying, tearing force, instantly cutting a gap in the protective armor on Long Lu's body. It directly left a bloody mark on Long Lu's divine body. It was just a bloody mark, but Long Lu's divine body did not completely collapse. He was about to let out a breath, but in the next moment, his eyes were wide open. He had already sensed that on the bloody mark, a terrifying, erosive force suddenly burst out. This erosive force crazily eroded and annihilated his divine power. The speed of the annihilation was completely beyond his imagination. Poison venom? Long Lu murmured. Jian Wushuang, who was standing in front of him, smiled and said, "Have you ever heard of cold blood venom?" Cold blood venom? Long Lu was completely stunned, and his eyes were full of despair. Cold blood venom was one of the most terrifying poisons in the primordial divine realm that targeted the level of the immortal saint. For example, Jian Wushuang had exchanged for the god-burning poison and the evil god poison, which only had a great effect on the lower-level immortal saint. Most of them only needed hundreds of thousands of holy elixirs to exchange for one drop. But the cold blood poison was different. The cold blood poison, even with the authority of a heaven-level member, required 100 million holy elixirs to exchange for one drop in the treasure pavilion. 100 million holy elixirs could only be exchanged for one drop. How precious was it? To put it bluntly, the cold blood poison was the most expensive poison that Jian Wushuang could exchange for. However, since the price was so high, the effect was naturally not trivial. One drop of the cold blood poison is enough to completely erode the divine power of a rank 7 true saint. Even if you kill a peak rank 7 true saint, you can only use 2 drops at most. As a rank 6 true saint, you should be satisfied if you can let me use 1 drop of the cold blood poison, Jian Wushuang said indifferently. He was talking to Long Lu, but unfortunately, she could no longer hear him because the cold blood poison had completely eroded Long Lu's divine power in the blink of an eye. Long Lu's life force had been completely cut off, and she could not be more dead. Long Lu is dead. Now it's your turn. Jian Wushuang's cold eyes looked at Deacon Qi and the others again. Oh no! Run! Deacon Qi and the others were scared out of their wits when they heard that Jian Wushuang had the cold blood poison. They did not dare to stay any longer. Can you escape? Jian Wushuang instantly chased after them while the ice and fire domain crazily pressed down on the 4 people. The 4 people were all at the peak of rank 6 true saint. They were powerful and had incredible speed. However, under the pressure of the ice and fire domain, their speed was greatly suppressed. Compared to Jian Wushuang, they were like snails. Boom! The dark light surrounded by the giant dragon suddenly pierced through the void and charged toward Deacon Qi. Deacon Qi waved his giant axe to block the attack. Even without the suppression of the realm, he had been severely injured by the dark light, let alone now. Bang! After the collision, Deacon Qi spat out blood again. His divine body was severely damaged, and Jian Wushuang had caught up with him. Whoosh! 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 Sword lights suddenly swept out. Wushuang's sword manual, 9th firmament illusionary sword realm. No! Deacon Qi let out a shrill cry. However, in just one exchange, this Deacon Qi, who was at the peak of rank 6 true saint realm, was killed by Jian Wushuang in an instant. Then, Jian Wushuang caught up with the other 3 one by one. In the face of Jian Wushuang's absolute strength, the 3 had no room to resist, and were all killed by Jian Wushuang. Of course, in order to kill the 5 people, Jian Wushuang also used 5 drops of the cold blood poison, which was worth 500 million holy elixirs. The experts of the heaven-cleaving alliance who were watching the battle were stunned. 4 rank 6 peak true saints and 1 initial level true saint died, just like that. How could a rank 4 true saint kill 5 rank 6 true saints so easily? Oh my God, am I dreaming? Everyone could not believe their eyes. Some people even thought that they were under an illusion and saw something impossible. But after rubbing their glasses, they found that what they saw was the truth. For rank 6 peak true saints and 1 initial rank 6 true saint of the Purple Cloud Pavilion had really been killed by Jian Wushuang. Not only killed, but also slaughtered. A one-sided slaughter. It was like slaughtering chickens and dogs, with no room for struggle. Chapter 3142. Heart-killing sorcery, with the help of the 8th level of the Samsara Sword Formation and the realm of Ice-Fire Swimming Dragon Ruler. It's really easy for me to kill these rank 6 peak true saints. Jian Wushuang was proud of the void. A faint smile appeared on his lips. Then he looked at the battlefield next to him. Whoosh! He moved and rushed toward the battlefield. On the battlefield, Xian Wu and Dao Dragon were fighting fiercely. Xian Wu had been completely suppressed and was even forced to retreat. At this time, he saw Jian Wushuang rushing toward him again. Trash! A bunch of trash! Xian Wu cursed loudly, his eyes surging with fury. He had never expected that his 4 rank 6 peak true saints and an initial rank 6 true saint would be unable to deal with a little guy who was only a rank 4 true saint. Not to mention being able to do anything. Even they themselves had died at the hands of this rank 4 true saint. Dao Dragon was also looking at Jian Wushuang with a strange light. Heavenly Sword Marquis, I have been in the divine beginning world for more than 100,000 years and have seen countless geniuses. I have even seen the super geniuses of the heaven-cleaving 3 palaces, Dao Palace, and the Space-Time Temple. But I have to say, among all the geniuses I have seen, you can definitely be ranked first. A rank 4 true saint can easily slaughter a rank 6 peak true saint. Even I have to admire his ability. Jian Wushuang smiled and said, Lord Dao Dragon, the heart which is the only one left in the Purple Cloud Pavilion, why don't you and I join hands and leave the heart witch here? Leave the heart witch here? Dao Dragon was stunned. The heart, which was very famous in the first heaven, after Dao Dragon fought with the heart, which he found that the latter was indeed very difficult to deal with, although he was much stronger than the heart, which he had never thought of leaving her here. However, Jian Wushuang actually had such a thought. The Purple Cloud Pavilion and I have a great enmity. I don't know how many experts of the Purple Cloud Pavilion died at my hands, but the premise is that you and I have to have the strength to leave her here. Dao Dragon said, Let's try. Jian Wushuang just smiled. Jian Wushuang and Dao Dragon did not conceal their conversation, and the heart, which standing in front of them, heard it very clearly. Boy, I admire you, not only because of your talent and your incredible ability to jump levels, but also because of your arrogance. Even an invincible immortal saint doesn't have the courage to say that you can keep me. Are you and Dao Dragon qualified to do so? The heart witch's eyes were cold. He stared at Jian Wushuang. It might be difficult for an invincible immortal saint to stay, but it's different for me. Jian Wushuang just smiled coldly. As he laughed, he suddenly waved his hand. Buzz! An invisible power burst out, and in the blink of an eye, a huge barrier appeared in the surrounding void. This barrier was like an iron bucket surrounding all directions, not leaving a single crack. A formation? Heart Shaman frowned, but then sneered. A mere rank for true saint casually setting up a formation, and you dare to use it to show off? How ridiculous. After saying this, Heart Shaman snorted coldly, and instantly a majestic black fog surged out. This black fog condensed in the surrounding void space, immediately forming a 3-meter-long black spear. This black spear had a cold aura. After it was formed, it charged toward the barrier closest to the heart shaman. The black spear was extremely terrifying and was comparable to a full-strength strike of a high-level true saint. However, when it struck the barrier, not only did it not break, it did not even budge. The full-strength strike of a high-level true saint was actually unable to break the barrier. How is this possible? The heart, which was shocked. Even Dao Dragon could not help feeling shocked. The heart, which has indeed used her true strength, but she could not break the barrier at all. Even if I attack it myself, I'm afraid it would be difficult to break the barrier, Dao Dragon muttered. He could not help looking at Jian Wushuang again. A rank 4 true saint can casually set up such a powerful magic array. He must have a treasure in his hand, and it must be of a very high level. Dao Dragon was right. Jian Wushuang had used the ruler seal. The ruler seal ruled over time and space. Although it was not a supreme treasure, its value was definitely not lower than that of ordinary supreme treasures. With Jian Wushuang's current rank 7 true saint's divine power, the power of the ruler seal formed by the formation could only be broken by an invincible saint. As for the heart, which, although her means were very good, she was still far from being able to break the formation compared to an invincible saint. Of course, it was impossible for her to break the formation. In the void, seeing that his attack did not shake the formation at all, Xian Wu's face turned ugly. Boy, you have such a treasure that can seal time and space. You can use it to break the space-time seal from the beginning, and then leave the heaven-cleaving alliance's nest. Xian Wu stared at Jian Wushuang coldly. Yes, if I wanted to leave, I could have done so 90 years ago when you sealed the space-time. Unfortunately, I don't like being forced into such a sorry state. Besides, you are not qualified to force me to use the space tunnel to escape. Jian Wushuang smiled coldly. Then he looked at Dao Dragon. Lord Dao Dragon, I have completely sealed the surrounding space. Xian Wu can't escape. Now you and I just need to work together to find a way to kill him. As long as we can completely trap him and prevent him from escaping, it's possible to kill him. Dao Dragon nodded. The reason why he was not confident in leaving the Heart Shaman behind was that the Heart Shaman's life-saving methods were extremely good. However, with the time-space seal, which completely cut off the Heart Shaman's escape space, there was a great chance to kill him. In that case, what are you waiting for? Let's do it. Jian Wushuang said with a smile. Dao Dragon's eyes turned cold, and his body suddenly moved. As if teleporting, he appeared in front of the Heart Shaman. Then he clenched his right hand tightly and threw a punch. This punch contained incredible power. When he threw it, the entire void trembled crazily. Feeling the power coming from his fist, the mental wizard's expression changed drastically, and he quickly moved to block it. Chapter 3143, The Voodoo World Boom. Dao Dragon and the Mind Which Fought Again. For a moment, the heaven and earth shook. Jian Wushuang stood at the edge of the battlefield and felt the terrifying booms coming from the center of the battlefield, but his eyes flashed with a trace of heat. Rank 7 true saint, I want to see how strong he is. Jian Wushuang smiled with bloodlust. Rumble. Endless power of ice and fire filled the sky and rushed toward the Heart Shaman like a raging wave. Under the pressure of the ice and fire realm, even the Heart Shaman was shocked. This realm is so strong. The Heart Shaman was surprised. He had noticed that Jian Wushuang had killed Long Lu and the others. The ice and fire realm was a great contribution to Jian Wushuang's ability to kill them so easily. At that time, the mind which thought that the power of this realm should be extraordinary. However, he did not expect that he, a rank 7 advanced true saint, would be suppressed by this realm. His strength was also suppressed by nearly 20% by this realm. Before, it was a magic array that sealed the surrounding void. I couldn't even move it with my full strength. But now, the realm-type treasure is obviously of a terrifying level. What is the origin of this kid? How could he have so many treasures? The mind which exclaimed, while the ice and fire domain was suppressing the heart, which Jian Wushuang also moved. He was only a rank 4 true saint, but at this moment, he had directly entered the battlefield of the heart, which and Dao Dragon, the 2 rank 7 true saints. Kill! With a loud roar, Jian Wushuang controlled the reincarnation sword formation. The faint light surrounded by a giant dragon pierced through the void and appeared beside the heart, which, a shrill sound of wind breaking, was heard. The heart, which waved her sleeve. A pitch-black spear condensed in the void beside her, and in the blink of an eye, it collided with the faint light surrounded by the giant dragon. Bang! A low sound of collision was heard, and the faint light was immediately sent flying. However, the heart which frowned slightly. She finally understood why Jian Wushuang could easily kill the several true saints at the peak of rank 6. Indeed, the power of his sword formation was very impressive. It was almost comparable to the attack of a primary rank 7 true saint. Boom! A terrifying wind-breaking sound was heard. Dao Dragon slashed with one hand, and a huge crack was torn open in the center of the endless black fog. Then, a huge fist appeared in front of Xian Wu again. Xian Wu's face was gloomy. He was not Dao Dragon's match. Under the suppression of the ice and fire realm, he could only exert 80% of his strength, so he was at a disadvantage. Jian Wushuang was still controlling the sword formation to attack him from time to time, which made the situation become one-sided. In just a few moves, Xian Wu's divine body had suffered a lot of damage and consumed a lot of divine power. If this continues, I'm afraid he'll really die here today. Xian Wu's eyes were cold, but his body suddenly burst out with shocking killing intent. This shocking killing intent completely locked onto Jian Wushuang. It's all because of this kid. As long as I kill him, without the surrounding barriers, no matter how strong Dao Dragon is, he can't do anything to me. Moreover, he killed my disciple. He must die. Xian Wu's eyes were red, and the monstrous black fog on his body burst out again. Secret technique, Voodoo world. Boom. The endless black fog completely exploded. This black fog was the voodoo poison from the heart shaman's body, and this voodoo poison was extremely strong. If an ordinary true saint touched it, their divine power would be instantly eroded away. Now that the heart shaman had completely exploded, the black fog became several times denser. The fog that had completely turned pitch black surged wildly, and in the blink of an eye, it actually formed a huge sea of black fog. This sea of black fog was still wildly sweeping in all directions. It was as if it wanted to completely cover the entire world around it. The voodoo world, the heart shaman's greatest trump card, was also his strongest move. He had always been skilled in using voodoo. For example, he had previously refined a God Punisher nail for his disciple Chu Yixiao, and that God Punisher nail was refined from his voodoo. And now, he had perfectly displayed the voodoo poison that he controlled to the extreme. This move consumed an enormous amount of his divine power, but its power was extremely terrifying. The majestic voodoo world covered the entire void. Anyone who fell into this voodoo world would immediately be eroded by the voodoo world. There was no way to avoid it, and they could only rely on their divine power to resist. Dao Dragon was powerful. Even if he was covered by the voodoo world, he could still resist the corrosion of the voodoo world with his own divine power. He was only affected to a certain extent in the voodoo world. As for Jian Wushuang, the moment the voodoo world swept out, he did not have much time to react. He was instantly enveloped by the sea of fog. The voodoo world is the most powerful secret skill I've ever obtained in a secret realm. Any ordinary rank 7 true saint who falls into my voodoo world will be killed after a long time. Although this kid's battle strength is comparable to an ordinary rank 7 true saint, he is only a rank 4 true saint. He won't be able to last long in my voodoo world. At most, he will die in 3 breaths. The Heart Witch's eyes were cold. He was very confident in his voodoo world. Jian Wushuang, a rank 4 true saint, was trapped in the voodoo world. If he did not escape in time, he would definitely die. However, Jian Wushuang, who was trapped in the voodoo world, did not have any intention of escaping. He still controlled the reincarnation sword formation and continued to attack the Heart Witch with Dao Dragon. "You're courting death." Xian Wu sneered. While he was trying his best to resist Dao Dragon's attack, he was also waiting for Jian Wushuang's death. However, after 3 breaths and 4 breaths, 10 breaths had passed. Jian Wushuang was still intact in the voodoo world, as if he was not affected at all. On the contrary, because he was using the voodoo world with all his strength, his divine power was greatly consumed. In addition to resisting Dao Dragon's and Jian Wushuang's attacks, his divine body was constantly damaged and needed divine power to recover. Until now, he had used up more than half of his divine power. How is this possible? It has been 10 breaths. How is it possible that this kid is still alive? Xian Wu looked incredulous. He thought that as long as he killed Jian Wushuang, he would be able to leave safely. However, he did not expect that he could not kill Jian Wushuang even though he had used the voodoo world, his most powerful skill. How could he, a rank 4 true saint, resist the crazy erosion of the voodoo world? Chapter 3144. Kill. Voodoo poison. Jian Wushuang sneered in his heart. Previously, the god-killing nail contained extremely strong voodoo poison, so it could not affect Jian Wushuang at all. But now, although the voodoo world was much stronger than the god-killing nail, Jian Wushuang was still immune to it. Even if he stayed in the voodoo world for 10 days and 10 nights, he would not be affected, let alone 10 breaths. You've used your most powerful skill, but you still can't do anything to me. Then you're dead. Jian Wushuang's eyes were cold. Oh no! The Heart Witch's face changed. As Jian Wushuang had said, as long as Jian Wushuang was not dead, he would be in big trouble. Kill. Dao Dragon and the Samsara sword formation controlled by Jian Wushuang appeared in front of the Heart Witch again and rushed toward her. The Heart Witch, who had lost more than half of her divine power, was in a worse and worse situation. In the end, she could only struggle. However, the struggle only lasted for a moment, and she still died. She's dead. The Heart Witch is dead. The Heart Witch is a very famous rank 7 true saint. It's said that he's more difficult to deal with than many rank 7 peak true saints. Lord Dao Dragon and Heavenly Sword Marquis really killed the Heart Witch here? Most of the experts of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance were in disbelief when Jian Wushuang said that he would leave the Heart Witch behind. Many people did not believe him. But it happened. Of course, it was not because the Heart Witch's methods did not match the rumors. It was because the Heart Witch had met Jian Wushuang, who had even better methods. The Heart Witch's best method was to control the voodoo poison, but his voodoo poison had no effect on Jian Wushuang. Secondly, his life-saving methods were also very good. That was why he dared to fight Dao Dragon head-on. However, Jian Wushuang's ruler seal completely sealed the surrounding void, instantly cutting off his chance to escape. Many of his escape skills could not be used at all. In addition, the Mind Wizard also had some unique skills. He could think of ways to avoid fighting Dao Dragon head-on, and then wait for the experts from the Purple Cloud Pavilion to arrive. However, Jian Wushuang's Ice and Fire Realm, which was performed by the Ice and Fire Swimming Dragon ruler, also completely cut off this possibility. All the life-saving and entangling skills were restricted by Jian Wushuang. It could be said that he had met his nemesis. Since he could not use these life-saving skills, he had to fight Dao Dragon head-on. In addition, Jian Wushuang also attacked with all his strength. Of course, he had to die. Heart Shaman. This old man is very famous and has many skills. I didn't think I could kill him, but he died. Dao Dragon stood in the void and looked at Jian Wushuang with a strange look. Heavenly Sword Marquis, this Heart Shaman is an elder of the Purple Cloud Pavilion. Because of his witchcraft, poison, and weapon refining skills, he is highly regarded in the Purple Cloud Pavilion. Now that you and I have killed him, we are in big trouble. Jian Wushuang's expression changed, and he nodded secretly. I have accumulated a lot of hatred with the Purple Cloud Pavilion. It's not that the Purple Cloud Pavilion hasn't thought of ways to kill me, but they just don't have the ability. Now, it's not a big deal for me to kill the Heart Shaman, but you are different. If nothing goes wrong, from today on, the Purple Cloud Pavilion will try to kill you, Dao Dragon added. I know, but since I dared to kill someone, I must be mentally prepared. Jian Wushuang said. That's good. In that case, you take care of yourself. I've completed my task, so I'll take my leave, Dao Dragon said. Thank you, Lord Dao Dragon. Jian Wushuang thanked him, and soon Dao Dragon left. Jian Wushuang waved his hand, and an interspatial ring immediately floated toward him. This interspatial ring was the one left behind by the heart, which after her death. Lord Dao Dragon is very polite. He did a lot to kill the heart witch, but he didn't even look at her interspatial ring and left it to me. Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows. The heart, which was a rank 7 true saint and an elder of the Purple Cloud Pavilion. She was proficient in voodoo and weapon refining. Her reputation was shocking. So she must be rich, although Jian Wushuang did not have any treasures in the interspatial ring. He could guess that the value of the interspatial ring was more than that of an ordinary peak rank 7 true saint. However, Dao Dragon was not interested in such a big fortune at all. He kept it all for himself. Obviously, Dao Dragon thought that Jian Wushuang was the reason why he could kill the heart witch. He did not accept the reward. On the other hand, Dao Dragon probably wanted to make friends with Jian Wushuang, a top genius. Lord Dao Dragon, please help me. I paid 7 billion holy elixirs, but I killed 4 rank 6 peak true saints, 1 initial rank 6 true saint, and most importantly, I killed the heart, which a rank 7 true saint. I got their interspatial ring. Its value has long surpassed the price I paid, and I made a lot of money. Jian Wushuang's eyes lit up. He had indeed made a profit this time. Of course, at the same time, he had also offended the Purple Cloud Pavilion. The Purple Cloud Pavilion, the overlord of the first heaven, one of the 3 pavilions. In the first heaven, the Purple Cloud Pavilion had absolute authority, and all the sects and factions were extremely fearful, and the experts of the Purple Cloud Pavilion were practically unruly no matter where they went in the first heaven. Very few people dared to make an enemy of the Purple Cloud Pavilion, much less kill an elder of the Purple Cloud Pavilion. Dao Dragon was the only one who dared to do so in the past 1,000,000 years. He was strong enough to not be afraid of the Purple Cloud Pavilion. The Purple Cloud Pavilion could not kill him without the help of the principal's master. Therefore, Dao Dragon was able to live. As for the others, They were all dead. Therefore, when the news of the witch Boda's death spread to the Purple Cloud Pavilion, the pavilion master and the elders of the Purple Cloud Pavilion were furious when they learned that the Heart Shaman's death was largely due to Jian Wushuang, a rank 4 true saint. The killing intent of the Purple Cloud Pavilion's upper echelons was even more shocking. A mere rank 4 true saint dares to kill an elder of the Purple Cloud Pavilion. Kill Heavenly Sword Marquis. We can't kill Dao Dragon, but Heavenly Sword Marquis must die. Soon, an order was given. It was a kill order. Anyone who belonged to the Purple Cloud Pavilion, including the experts and disciples of the Purple Cloud Pavilion, as well as all the forces and countries under the Purple Cloud Pavilion who met Heavenly Sword Marquis, must be killed. At the same time, the intelligence department of the Purple Cloud Pavilion began to operate and frantically search for Jian Wushuang. Once they found Jian Wushuang, the Purple Cloud Pavilion would immediately send experts to kill him. Chapter 3145. The fight began in another secret lair of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance. Jian Wushuang, wearing a gray robe and a gray mask, was sitting at a table, holding a piece of information that he had just received. Sure enough, after the heart which died, the Purple Cloud Pavilion became furious and tried to kill me. Not only did they issue a kill order, but they even put a bounty on the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance and all the intelligence organizations in the first heaven to find my whereabouts. However, this is exactly what I want. Jian Wushuang looked at the information in his hand. A strange smile appeared on his face. He had long expected the Purple Cloud Pavilion's anger and was mentally prepared for it. In the face of the Purple Cloud Pavilion's kill order and the bounty from the intelligence organizations, ordinary rank 4 true saints, and even rank 7 true saints would be terrified. However, Jian Wushuang was not. Not only did he not panic, but he also looked forward to it. On the contrary, he was looking forward to it. The road to becoming an expert is full of obstacles. In this life, I rose up in endless territories. In the beginning, I encountered some obstacles in the Pill Sun's sacred world. However, after leaving the Pill Sun's sacred world, I rarely encountered any obstacles. There are very few experts in the endless territories. It's normal that I don't encounter any big obstacles. However, this is the first heaven where there are as many experts as clouds. My strength increases, and my rise requires a large number of whetstones. The Purple Cloud Pavilion will be my first whetstone after I come to the first heaven. Jian Wushuang's eyes were shining brightly. If an ordinary person heard that Jian Wushuang treated the Purple Cloud Pavilion as a whetstone, they would definitely think that he was crazy. However, Jian Wushuang was full of confidence. It was his own strength and confidence in his talent. He was not worried that he would not be able to withstand the anger of the Purple Cloud Pavilion. Instead, he was worried that the Purple Cloud Pavilion was not enough. Let the slaughter begin. Jian Wushuang clenched his hands, and the token in his hand that recorded the information of the Purple Cloud Pavilion immediately shattered. 3 months later, in the territory controlled by the Purple Cloud Pavilion in the first heaven, in the vast void, 2 figures were flying forward side by side. They were a man and a woman. Their auras were very strong, and they had reached the peak of rank 5, a peak rank 5 true saint. With such strength, they could already hold the position of deacons within the Purple Cloud Pavilion. These 2 people were the 2 deacons of the Purple Cloud Pavilion. As they rushed forward, they were still chatting idly. The ruler of the Hengshui Kingdom just now was very generous. Not only did he pay us enough money, he even prepared 10 million holy elixirs for each of us, the red-robed woman said. He's smart. He knows that he can give us some benefits, so we won't deliberately make things difficult for him. Some of the monarchs are as stupid as pigs. Every time, they insist that we use some tricks before they are willing to give us benefits, said the white-robed, white-bearded old man with a smile. Haha, that's true. However, no matter what, although the two of us aren't strong and can only be considered at the bottom among the deacons of the Purple Cloud Pavilion, we are considered lucky to be able to get this job, said the red-robed woman. That's not just good, it's very good. You don't know that our current job is very lucrative. There are so many deacons in the Purple Cloud Pavilion. I wonder how many deacons envy our job, said the white-robed, white-bearded elder. As the two of them conversed, they were clearly in an extremely good mood. But suddenly, a figure appeared in front of the two of them without any warning. The red-clothed woman and the white-robed, white-bearded elder immediately stopped. Both of them raised their heads and looked at the person. The person was wearing a gray robe and a gray mask. This was clearly the attire of a member of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance, and the aura emanating from his body had already reached the limit of the rank 4. Who are you? The white-robed, white-bearded elder shouted in a low voice. They were rank 5 peak true saints. Facing a rank 4 true saint, they naturally had the right to look down from above. My name is Heavenly Sword Marquis. You should have heard of me. A cold voice came from under the gray mask. Heavenly Sword Marquis, the white-robed, white-bearded elder, and the red-clothed woman's expressions changed drastically. They were deacons of the Purple Cloud Pavilion. So, of course, they knew Heavenly Sword Marquis, who had angered the Purple Cloud Pavilion and issued a kill order. It's you? How dare you appear in front of us? The red-clothed woman shouted. It's just 2 dead people. Why wouldn't I dare? Jian Wushuang smiled and said playfully, You should have finished sending the message, right? The white-robed, white-bearded elder and the red-robed woman were stunned. They were secretly sending the message to the Purple Cloud Pavilion, but Jian Wushuang knew this and did not intend to stop them. Since you have finished sending the message, you too can go to hell. Jian Wushuang's voice was cold. Then he directly attacked. There were only 2 true saints at the peak of rank 5. With Jian Wushuang's strength, he killed them in a flash. After killing them, Jian Wushuang left. When the experts of the Purple Cloud Pavilion received the message and sent them, Jian Wushuang had already gone to God knows where. The 2 deacons of Purple Cloud Pavilion were just the beginning of Jian Wushuang's slaughter. 2 months later, the 5 core disciples of Purple Cloud Pavilion were targeted while they were out training. All 5 of them died, and none survived. The killer was Heavenly Sword Marquis. Half a year later, a true saint expert at the peak of rank 6 of Purple Cloud Pavilion was killed in a city. The killer was Heavenly Sword Marquis. 3 years later, at a neutral auction, 8 people from the Purple Cloud Pavilion participated. 5 of them were rank 6 true saints, and 3 of them were rank 5 true saints. They spent a lot of holy elixirs and bought several treasures at the auction. As soon as the 8 people walked out of the auction, they were immediately killed. All 8 experts died, and the murderer was still Heavenly Sword Marquis. 5 years later, in a country, while Purple Cloud Pavilion gave Jian Wushuang a kill order and frantically searched for his escape route, Jian Wushuang also set his eyes on Purple Cloud Pavilion. To everyone's surprise, he directly entered the territory controlled by Purple Cloud Pavilion and crazily killed the solitary experts of Purple Cloud Pavilion. The Purple Cloud Pavilion was a large sect with countless experts and disciples. Many of them were wandering in the outside world and were active in this territory. Jian Wushuang had his eyes on them. He got detailed information from the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance and then went to find them. In just 10 years, Jian Wushuang had attacked 8 times. More than 30 experts of the Purple Cloud Pavilion had died at his hands, including many rank 6 true saints. This incident not only shocked the Purple Cloud Pavilion, but also shocked the outside world. Everyone knew that Jian Wushuang had completely fought with the Purple Cloud Pavilion. Chapter 3146. Prey that has been targeted. This heavenly sword marquis is so bold and courageous. He's just a mere rank 4 true saint, yet he dares to fight the Purple Cloud Pavilion head-on? Indeed, if it were us, after knowing that the Purple Cloud Pavilion had issued the kill order, we would definitely try to find a place to hide. We might even flee to the endless territories so that the Purple Cloud Pavilion wouldn't be able to find us. We would wait for a few 100,000 years before returning. However, this heavenly sword marquis clearly knows that the Purple Cloud Pavilion wants to kill him, yet he still took the initiative to run into the territory controlled by the Purple Cloud Pavilion and kill as he pleases. Thanks. This heavenly sword marquis is really something. He is only a rank 4 true saint, yet he can kill so many experts of the Purple Cloud Pavilion in such a short time. He can even kill a rank 6 true saint, or even a rank 6 peak true saint. This is too terrifying. He is simply a monster. Monster? Humph. So what if his talent is heaven-defying? His actions now clearly indicate that he wants to fight to the death with the Purple Cloud Pavilion. However, the Purple Cloud Pavilion is such a huge monster. How can a mere rank 4 true saint be able to fight against it? Just wait and see. Before long, the people of the Purple Cloud Pavilion will find him and kill him. Yeah, I think so too. After all, the Purple Cloud Pavilion is the overlord of the first heaven. It has been deeply rooted for so many years, and its strength is no small matter. After so many years, no one in the first heaven dares to challenge the Purple Cloud Pavilion head-on. Other than Dao Dragon, there is no one else who can survive. Although this heavenly sword marquis is talented, in terms of strength, he is still far from Dao Dragon. Stupid. Heavenly sword marquis is too stupid. Countless experts were discussing this matter. These experts had different attitudes toward Jian Wushuang. Some admired Jian Wushuang's courage. Some admired his strength and talent, but there were also many who thought he was too stupid. He should not have chosen to fight head-on with the Purple Cloud Pavilion. But no matter what they thought, it had nothing to do with Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang insisted on walking his own path. He knew what he was doing. Time passed. Jian Wushuang still roamed around the territory controlled by the Purple Cloud Pavilion, killing experts everywhere. The Purple Cloud Pavilion was also trying to find him and kill him, but Jian Wushuang was very cunning. His whereabouts were always erratic, and because he was a Heaven-grade member of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance, he could get detailed information from the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance. The Purple Cloud Pavilion had set traps for him several times, but he did not fall for it. In a flash, 60 years had passed. Jian Wushuang had killed for 60 years in the territory controlled by the Purple Cloud Pavilion, but he was still alive and well. During these 60 years, I killed countless experts in the Purple Cloud Pavilion. Killing and attacking again and again made my strength improve a lot, but the improvement is not too great. Jian Wushuang stood in the void. His eyes were extremely cold as he stared at the information he had just received. The information said that half a month later, a new king of the Winter Snow Kingdom under the Purple Cloud Pavilion would take over. The Purple Cloud Pavilion sent an elder of a rank 7 true saint to participate. A rank 7 true saint, Jian Wushuang muttered. With his current strength, it was indeed easy for him to kill an ordinary rank 6 true saint or even a rank 6 peak true saint. Even if several rank 6 peak true saint experts joined hands, he could easily kill them. In the past 60 years, he had killed many rank 6 true saints in the Purple Cloud Pavilion. It was not difficult for him to kill a rank 6 true saint. If he wanted to train and use the Purple Cloud Pavilion as a whetstone, he naturally had to find someone stronger. That was why he had his eyes on this rank 7 true saint. With my current strength, it's not difficult for me to contend with an ordinary rank 7 initial true saint. As for whether I can kill him or not, I'm not sure. But even if I can't kill this rank 7 true saint, I can leave at ease. Jian Wushuang smiled. He had already made up his mind. In half a month, the Winter Snow Kingdom. Half a month soon arrived. The Winter Snow Kingdom was one of the many kingdoms under the Purple Cloud Pavilion. The Winter Snow Kingdom's territory was quite vast. In the first heaven, it was already a large kingdom with many experts. There were 6 rank 6 true saints, but there was not a single rank 7 true saint in the entire kingdom. Today, the new king of the Winter Snow Kingdom had ascended to the throne, and the Winter Snow Kingdom had specially invited an elder of the Purple Cloud Pavilion to attend. The inauguration ceremony was extremely lively and grand. After the ceremony was over, a huge banquet was held, and countless experts were boisterous. Only after the banquet was over did everyone start to disperse. Lord Bai Yuan, this is just a small token of my appreciation. I hope that when you return to the Purple Cloud Pavilion, you can put in a few good words for my Winter Snow Kingdom. A middle-aged man dressed luxuriously smiled. He gave out an interspatial ring. The white-robed old man, called by Yuan, ended up with the interspatial ring. After scanning it with his consciousness, he smiled and nodded. "Don't worry, Your Highness. The Winter Snow Kingdom has long been under the command of our Purple Cloud Pavilion. Moreover, they have been following the lead of our Purple Cloud Pavilion all these years. Naturally, the Purple Cloud Pavilion will not forget. In that case, thank you, Lord Bai Yuan. Please take care." The middle-aged man dressed in luxurious clothes said. Bai Yuan turned around and prepared to leave. Whoosh! A figure suddenly appeared in front of everyone without any warning. Bai Yuan and the middle-aged man immediately looked up. "My name is Heavenly Sword Marquis," Jian Wushuang said softly. He said it casually, but when the people around heard the name, their faces changed. "Heavenly Sword Marquis. He is Heavenly Sword Marquis, the rank 4 true saint who has been fighting with the Purple Cloud Pavilion for 60 years and still hasn't been killed. Heavenly Sword Marquis, you actually came to the Winter Snow Kingdom?" A lot of exclamations sounded at the same time. Bai Yuan's face turned completely gloomy. "Boy, how dare you?" Bai Yuan's voice was cold, and he had secretly sent a message to the Purple Cloud Pavilion. He knew that Jian Wushuang was very strong. He was only an initial rank 7 true saint. Even if he could suppress Jian Wushuang, he would not be able to kill him. Therefore, the Purple Cloud Pavilion had to send more experts. After receiving the message from Bai Yuan, the Purple Cloud Pavilion's higher-ups immediately ordered 3 experts at the rank 7 peak True Saint realm to rush over. 3 experts at the peak of rank 7 were enough to kill a rank 7 true saint of the same level. Killing a rank 4 true saint like Jian Wushuang would be a piece of cake. Jian Wushuang guessed that Bai Yuan had sent a message, but he was not in a hurry. He had already received detailed information about the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance and had already calculated it. Although the Winter Snow Kingdom is a large-scale kingdom under the Purple Cloud Pavilion, the Purple Cloud Pavilion does not have a direct space passage to the Winter Snow Kingdom. If the experts of the Purple Cloud Pavilion want to rush here, they need at least 30 breaths of time. Jian Wushuang muttered in his heart. Jian Wushuang murmured to himself. Chapter 3147, Fighting a Rank 7 True Saint. 30 breaths was not a long time, but it was enough for Jian Wushuang. An expert from the Purple Cloud Pavilion can arrive in 30 breaths, and I have to kill him in 25 breaths. If I can't kill him, then I have to leave. Jian Wushuang stared at Bai Yuan in front of him, a shocking killing intent rose from his body. Swish, 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 swish. Purple longswords floated out and combined with each other at the fastest speed. The faint light surrounded by a giant dragon appeared again. It was the 8th level of the Samsara sword formation, the Dark Dragon Spike. Compared to the Dark Dragon Spike that Jian Wushuang used 60 years ago, the dark light was more dazzling and more powerful. At the same time, the 7-star secret skill, the divine punishment skill, and the 9 luminary star armor were all used, and the supreme sword essence in the Blood Mountain sword was completely unleashed. Kill! Jian Wushuang shouted, and the ghost dragon burst out. Boom! The void was penetrated, and the ghost light appeared in front of Bai Yuan. Humph! Bai Yuan snorted coldly. A green longsword appeared in his hand. With a wave of his hand, a huge green sword light, like a green moon, swept out and collided with the dim light. Clang! The sound of metal colliding rang out. The dim light trembled slightly before it flew out explosively. As for Bai Yuan, although he did not retreat, his eyes darkened. Rank 7. Bai Yuan looked at Jian Wushuang in surprise. He clearly felt that Jian Wushuang had the battle strength of a rank 7 true saint. Not only did he have the divine power of a rank 7 true saint, but the power of his sword formation was also almost equal to that of an ordinary level 7 absolute art. Indeed, during the past 60 years, Jian Wushuang's comprehension of the principles had improved a lot, and his grasp of the 8th reincarnation sword formation had become stronger. Now he was fully controlling the 8th reincarnation sword formation, and the power it released, it was very close to an ordinary rank 7 absolute art. Combined with the power of his divine power, his real battle strength was comparable to an ordinary rank 7 elementary true saint, and Bai Yuan was only a rank 7 elementary true saint. Again, Jian Wushuang smiled coldly, and the reincarnation sword formation burst out again. At the same time, he also moved. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Streaks of silver light flashed rapidly in the void, like ghosts. Before the reincarnation sword formation could reach Bai Yuan, Jian Wushuang had already arrived. 9th heaven of illusionary sword. Jian Wushuang waved his right hand continuously. In the blink of an eye, 9 sword lights seemed to fall at the same time and slash toward Bai Yuan. Ridiculous! Bai Yuan was not afraid at all. He also struck his sword continuously, and his speed was not slower than Jian Wushuang's. Clang, 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 clang. 9 low collision sounds were heard. Jian Wushuang's 9th heaven of illusionary sword was faster and faster, but it was blocked by Bai Yuan. Boom! The dark light, surrounded by the giant dragon, also shot toward Jian Wushuang. However, Bai Yuan backhanded his sword and pushed back the dark light with brute force. Boy, is that all you have? Bai Yuan stared at Jian Wushuang with a cold smile. As expected of a rank 7 true saint. It's different from those rank 6 true saints, but Jian Wushuang said as he waved his hand, and a large amount of ice and fire energy instantly surged out. It swept out in all directions at an astonishing speed. The ice and fire swimming dragon ruler and the ice and fire realm had completely exploded. The power of the ice and fire realm was extremely powerful. Even the heart, whose strength had reached the advanced rank 7 and was close to the peak of rank 7, was suppressed by nearly 20% of his strength under the full force of the ice and fire realm. Bai Yuan's strength was definitely much weaker than the heart witch's. Under the full suppression of the ice and fire realm, Bai Yuan's strength was immediately suppressed by more than 20%. Now let's fight again. Jian Wushuang smiled coldly, and the Samsara sword formation burst out again. Bai Yuan felt the strong pressure around him and could not help frowning. Under the suppression of the ice and fire realm, he once again attacked the Samsara sword formation head-on. However, this time, they were evenly matched. Although the sword formation was sent flying, he was forced back 3 steps. Swish, swish, swish. The dim light flashed again, and crazily rushed toward Bai Yuan. Bai Yuan could not dodge it, so he could only wave his long sword again and again to send the dim light flying. However, Jian Wushuang only used his mind to control the sword formation, while Bai Yuan relied on his own sword to defend. The recoil from the collision affected Bai Yuan's divine body again and again. In addition, Jian Wushuang had been looking for opportunities in the surroundings, so the situation was obviously disadvantageous to Bai Yuan. Suddenly, Jian Wushuang, who had been looking for opportunities in the surroundings, suddenly moved. Without any warning, Jian Wushuang appeared beside Bai Yuan. He slashed out the Blood Mountain sword in his hand, and a hazy but beautiful sword light lit up. It was the first move of the peerless sword technique, Star Dream. Bai Yuan had just blocked the attack of the reincarnation sword formation, so he was unable to block Jian Wushuang's extremely fast sword. Clang! The sharp sword light cut into Bai Yuan's protective armor, and a strong tearing power burst out. However, although the power was strong, it did not cut through Bai Yuan's protective armor. It only left a white mark on the armor. Huh! Jian Wushuang frowned and immediately retreated. After retreating far away, Jian Wushuang looked at Bai Yuan again with a serious expression. The information provided by the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance is right. Although Bai Yuan is not very strong, his protective means are very good. The armor he is wearing is a superior holy treasure armor, and he has also cultivated a unique protective secret skill. With my current strength, I could not break his divine body with Star Dream one move. At most, I could only hurt him slightly, Jian Wushuang murmured. It was only a slight injury, which could be repaired with a bit of divine power. It had no effect on Bai Yuan at all. What Jian Wushuang wanted to do was to cut open Bai Yuan's protective armor, then cut open the skin on Bai Yuan's body, and erode the cold blood poison into Bai Yuan's divine body. Just a drop of the cold blood poison was enough to kill Bai Yuan. It was enough to kill Bai Yuan. However, his idea would not work now. Boy, you have completely infuriated me. Bai Yuan stared at Jian Wushuang with bloodshot eyes, and his aura suddenly became violent. No matter what, Bai Yuan was a rank 7 true saint. Although he was not very strong, he still had his own trump card and killer move. And now, Bai Yuan was going to use his killer move. Chapter 3148. Hidden Cards, Heavenly Sword Marquee. You are a rank 4 true saint, but you have the battle strength of a rank 7 true saint. Such talent is simply unbelievable. Logically, you should have a bright future, but unfortunately, you are too arrogant and treat my purple cloud pavilion as your opponent. Today, I will leave you a top genius. Here. Die. Die. Bai Yuan's eyes turned cold, but he opened his mouth and spat out a pitch-black bead. After he spat it out, the bead exploded with a bang and turned into black energy that filled the sky, fusing into the green longsword in Bai Yuan's hand. Win God! Bai Yuan's killing intent flashed, and he immediately drew his sword. He took a step forward, and the longsword in his hand suddenly stabbed towards the empty space in front of him. As he thrust, ripples immediately spread out in the void. Bai Yuan was using a longsword, but the move he was using felt like a spear thrust. The moment he thrust, a green lightning bolt pierced through the void and shot toward Jian Wushuang. Fast, too fast. Even Jian Wushuang, who was good at space-time principles and was very fast, could not help being shocked when he saw the green lightning bolt. This sword move is even faster than my life and death moment. Jian Wushuang was shocked. Among the 7 sword moves in the Wushuang sword manual, the fastest one was the life and death moment, which was a sure kill sword move. However, at this moment, the speed of the sword move that Bai Yuan displayed was obviously faster than his life and death moment. Jian Wushuang had only thought of defending himself against such a terrifying speed, but the cyan sword light had already struck Jian Wushuang's divine body. Bang! A low boom sounded. Jian Wushuang's body shook violently, and he suffered a heavy blow. The cyan lightning instantly made a hole in the golden armor on his body. Then, a bloody hole the size of a bowl appeared on Jian Wushuang's divine body. The black energy formed by the black bead also entered Jian Wushuang's body and began to erode wildly. Jian Wushuang's expression changed. He closed his eyes and felt the erosion of the black energy in his body. However, it only took a moment for Jian Wushuang to open his eyes again. As expected of a rank 7 true saint, your move just now was quite good. Jian Wushuang grinned and revealed a cold smile. He didn't die. Bai Yuan was extremely surprised. His strongest move, which was combined with the black bead, was a sure kill move. Logically speaking, even if a rank 7 true saint was hit, the chances of survival would not be high. However, this rank 4 true saint actually survived this move. Not only did he survive, but it seemed that even his divine power had not been eroded by much. Bai Yuan, you've used your most powerful skill. Now, you should try one of my moves. Jian Wushuang's eyes were cold. The next moment, he slowly raised the Blood Mountain sword in his hand. The sword was placed in front of him. However, this simple act of raising the sword instantly stirred up the surrounding space and time, and the surrounding void became completely blood red. Yes, it was blood red. The blood red sky, the blood red earth, and even the air were filled with a large amount of blood fog. Bai Yuan and the surrounding experts who were watching the battle even seemed to see the bones under Jian Wushuang's feet forming a blood sea. The sky-shaking killing intent soared to the sky, causing everyone to feel a trace of fear. At this moment, Jian Wushuang was no longer a human cultivator, but an Azura who had transformed into hell. This was a blood-colored Azura. The blood-colored Azura raised the sword in its hand and slowly slashed out. It was a simple slash, as if it did not contain any power. However, the moment the Blood Mountain sword was slashed out, a huge sense of fear instantly surged into Bai Yuan's heart. Whoosh! The sword light finally fell. The 7th move of the Peerless Sword Manual, the strongest move, Blood Azura. The sword light slashed out with earth-shaking power. Bai Yuan was about to block the sword when a wave of space-time power suddenly came. The space-time around Bai Yuan instantly became stagnant. This stagnant state only lasted for a short time and was almost negligible. However, in a fight between experts, especially those who had reached the level of a rank 7 true saint, many things could be done in a split second. At least, the sword light that Jian Wushuang had displayed appeared in front of Bai Yuan. When Bai Yuan came back to his senses, he could no longer block the sword light. He could not even raise his long sword with much difficulty. Bang! The sword light was not hindered at all. It directly cut into Bai Yuan's divine body. Bai Yuan immediately let out a muffled groan, and his body suddenly retreated. However, his divine body was not directly destroyed. Seeing this scene, Jian Wushuang could not help but sigh. Bai Yuan's body protection ability is indeed strong. Not only did my Blood Azura merge with the heaven-designated skill, but the power of his swordsmanship is also extremely terrifying. However, even such a sword attack without any hindrance could not cause his divine body to directly collapse. Jian Wushuang muttered. However, he was not disappointed at all. More than half of the 30 breaths time has been used up. In a little while, The experts of Purple Cloud Pavilion will arrive. I can't waste any more time with him. I'll use that move directly. It would be best if I could kill him, but if I can't, I'll have to leave directly. Jian Wushuang's face became extremely solemn. Blood Azura was the strongest and most terrifying sword move he had ever created. However, this sword move was not his strongest trump card. He had many trump cards, such as the Mountain River map, which he had never used. But now, Jian Wushuang had no intention of using the Mountain River map. He had another trump card. He had just mastered this trump card and had never really fought in front of others. You're lucky to be the first target of my secret skill, Bai Yuan. Jian Wushuang smiled. Cut the crap. Show me what you've got. Bai Yuan was not afraid at all. He did not believe that Jian Wushuang could kill him because of his strong protective ability. Of course, he did not want to kill Jian Wushuang himself. He just wanted to keep fighting with Jian Wushuang and stall for time until the 3 true saints at the peak of rank 7 arrived. Then he could easily surround and kill Jian Wushuang. Haha, as you wish. Jian Wushuang did not waste any more words. With a faint smile, the vast divine power on his body instantly surged. Splash! A large amount of divine power surged, instantly forming a huge divine power sea. However, the divine power in this divine power sea was being consumed at a crazy rate. 6 paths of reincarnation. Hell path, extremely hot hell. Chapter 3149. The path of Hell Wang. The originally vast sea of divine power suddenly evaporated. Under the influence of the power of reincarnation, heaven and earth began to change. In the blink of an eye, the entire heaven and earth became completely red, as if it was completely in a furnace, and the temperature of this furnace was unbelievably high. Even the void was emitting hot air crazily. The entire world and the endless void seemed to be melting. So hot. It's too hot. How can it be so hot? I'm a true saint, and I actually feel like I'm about to die from the heat. Outside the battlefield, the true saints of the Winter Snow Kingdom were all inexplicably exclaiming at this moment. Their mouths were dry, and they were extremely hot. However, they were outside the battlefield, which meant that they were outside the world of extreme heat. It was easy to imagine what it was like to be inside the world of extreme heat. What kind of trick is this? It's too hot. My divine body, my blood, my soul, and my divine power are all about to be completely evaporated. Hot. I'm going to die from the heat. Bai Yuan, who was in the center of the extremely hot world, let out a painful and mournful howl. As a rank 7 true saint with tyrannical strength, it would be a joke if he were to die from the heat. But now Bai Yuan really felt like he was going to die from the heat and be roasted dry. His divine power, his blood, everything in his body, including his soul, were all crazily roasted at this moment. This kind of roasting produced an unprecedented pain, not just in his divine body and heart and soul. Bai Yuan only felt that he was suffering unprecedented torture. He has lived hundreds of thousands of years without this kind of torture. Jian Wushuang was also in this extremely hot world, but he was not affected by it. His eyes flashed with a fierce light as he looked at Bai Yuan, who was roaring and struggling crazily. This is an extremely hot hell, where everything is roasted and evaporated. Even a rank 7 true saint would suffer unprecedented pain and torture in this hell. With my current strength, I can last for 3 breaths in this hell. I don't know if Bai Yuan can last 3 breaths in this hell, Jian Wushuang thought. 3 breaths was a short time, but to Bai Yuan, it was a long time. He was in the extremely hot hell, and he was being roasted every second. The pain that could evaporate his entire god body and soul was too terrifying. 3 breaths passed. Buzz. The extremely hot hell disappeared, and the world returned to its calm state. Bai Yuan was still standing in the void, but at this moment, his entire body was drenched in sweat. He lowered his head and panted heavily, and his body was also slightly trembling. That 3 breaths of experience were definitely the most terrifying experience in his life. He had experienced it once, and even if he was beaten to death, he did not want to experience it again. Moreover, 60% of his divine power had been evaporated in the extremely hot hell, and his soul had been severely injured. Especially the fear in his heart he had yet to completely recover. Heavenly Sword Marquis, am more and more impressed by you. A rank 4 true saint actually has such an incredible skill. Unfortunately, your secret skill is very terrifying, but your strength is still a little inferior. You can't fully unleash the power of this secret skill. Your move can't kill me. Bai Yuan raised his head, staring at Jian Wushuang. A sneer appeared on the corner of his mouth. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang gave a strange smile and said, Bai Yuan, it's too early for you to be happy. Huh. Bai Yuan's face changed. I forgot to tell you that the secret skill I just displayed is divided into 3 levels. The extremely hot hell you just experienced is only the first level. Now you can try the second level of the secret skill. Jian Wushuang smiled. Immediately, a large amount of divine power surged up crazily. The divine power also converged into a sea of divine power. Moreover, the divine power Jian Wushuang used this time was obviously much more vast than when he used the extremely hot hell. It was more than 3 times as vast. The second level of Hell Dao, the extremely cold hell. Buzz. The divine power in the sky was instantly exhausted. Space and time in this vast world instantly froze. It was extremely cold. Under this terrifying coldness, a large amount of mist rose from the void. Crack, crack. Soft sounds rang out one after another. When the people outside the battlefield saw it, they could not help but widen their eyes. These soft cracking sounds were the sounds of the void being frozen and then exploding. How could such a stable space in the divine, beginning world be frozen to the point of cracking? How cold was this? In the center of the extremely cold hell, Bai Yuan's eyes were wide open. He had been maintaining this posture, but his divine body had been completely frozen into an ice sculpture. Not just his divine body, the blood in his body had also been completely frozen, and even his real soul had been frozen into a frozen state. Jian Wushuang stood in front of Bai Yuan and blew lightly. With a sound like glass breaking, Bai Yuan's divine body directly shattered and turned into ice chips. He did not recombine his divine body immediately. In just a moment, this powerful rank 7 true saint was turned into ashes. Seeing this scene, even Jian Wushuang was quite excited. He looked at his right hand. On the back of his hand, there was an ancient golden character. When Jian Wushuang had just used the secret skill, the golden character also emitted a dazzling light, which made Jian Wushuang use the secret skill. Its power had increased a lot. And this golden character was the origin of the 6 Paths of Reincarnation's secret skill. 6 Paths of Reincarnation. This secret skill is too terrifying. Jian Wushuang exclaimed. 6 Paths of Reincarnation, 6 secret skills. He had only mastered the first move, Hell Dao. However, Hell Dao was divided into 3 levels. He had just used the first and second levels of extremely hot hell and extremely cold hell. The power of the extremely hot hell was weaker, but the extremely cold hell was extremely terrifying. Jian Wushuang was only barely able to use the extremely cold hell. Once he used it, even a rank 7 true saint would not be able to resist and would be frozen to death. However, Jian Wushuang knew very well that the most terrifying part of the 3 levels of Hell Dao was the final 3 levels. The 3rd level was called the Solitary Hell. That was a truly nightmarish skill, but unfortunately, he had yet to master the 3rd level. Chapter 3150 was sensational. The first Hell Dao is so powerful. I wonder what the other 5 Daos will do. Jian Wushuang clenched his hands, full of expectation. After killing Bai Yuan and picking up the interspatial ring left by him, Jian Wushuang immediately left. It only took him 25 breaths to kill Bai Yuan, and it took the Purple Cloud Pavilion experts 5 breaths to arrive. That was enough time for Jian Wushuang to leave. After Jian Wushuang left, the experts of the Winter Snow Kingdom were in an uproar. Lord Bai Yuan was killed. Heavenly Sword Marquis, he really killed Lord Bai Yuan. He is a rank 7 true saint. King, many people looked at the middle-aged man in luxurious clothes, King of Winter Snow Kingdom. The Winter Snow King was also very excited. Apparently, he had not fully recovered from the scene. After a while, he took a deep breath and immediately looked at a true saint next to him. Did you record the fierce battle between Heavenly Sword Marquis, Lord Bai Yuan? Yes, that true saint replied. That's good. The experts from the Purple Cloud Pavilion will arrive soon. We only need to show them the mirror image. Heavenly Sword Marquis is too strong. We are not weak at all. Lord Bai Yuan's death is not our fault. The Winter Snow King said in a low voice. Also, we have to announce the mirror image. Announce it completely? The people around were stunned. That's right. The divine beginning realm is extremely cruel. It's not that easy for an expert to rise up. And this Heavenly Sword Marquis, his talent is too terrifying. His potential is limitless. And for such a genius with such great potential, he will more or less be envied and ostracized by some people. As long as we announce this mirror image, many experts of the divine beginning realm, including some high and mighty principles masters, will most likely pay attention to him. It's not a good thing to be the center of attention, the Winter Snow Kingdom said with a cold smile. Soon, the Winter Snow Kingdom released the mirror image. In the past 60 years, the battle between Jian Wushuang and the Purple Cloud Pavilion for the first heaven was very fierce, and it had become a hot topic among many cultivators. Although it was a topic, it did not cause much of a stir. However, after the Winter Snow Kingdom released the mirror image of the battle between Jian Wushuang and Bai Yuan, the first heaven, including the 3rd heaven, could no longer remain calm. After all, Jian Wushuang had killed a rank 7 true saint. Abnormal! This is too abnormal. Where did this Heavenly Sword Marquis come from? It was already unbelievable that he could kill a rank 6 peak true saint with a rank 4 true saint. But now, he actually killed a rank 7 true saint. That's a rank 7 true saint. In the first heaven, the strongest person in many forces is only a rank 7 true saint. There are many geniuses in the divine beginning realm. For example, the heaven-cleaving 3 palaces, the Dao Palace, and the Temporal Temple all have many top geniuses. Some of them are extremely dazzling, but I've never heard of anyone who could kill a rank 7 true saint with a rank 4 true saint. If Jian Wushuang doesn't die, his future achievements will be unimaginable. Jian Wushuang, monster! All the experts in the 3rd heaven who heard about this and saw the mirror image were shocked by Jian Wushuang's battle strength. The words Jian Wushuang resounded throughout the 3rd heaven in a very short time. 1. Monster, monster, great pervert. All the names were addressed to Jian Wushuang. In the vast chaotic void, Emo Shan, the 3-eyed man, and the blue-haired woman were sitting together. In the void in front of them, there was a huge mirror image, which was the mirror image of the fierce battle between Jian Wushuang and Bai Yuan. Ha! I knew that Heavenly Sword Marquis might give me a surprise. He really gave me a big surprise. Amo Shan stroked his white beard and laughed heartily. More than 100 years ago, when Jian Wushuang was trapped in the mystic realm of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance by the heart, which Amo Shan had been looking forward to Jian Wushuang. He knew that since Jian Wushuang refused his help, he must be confident that he could deal with this situation. As expected, 90 years later, Jian Wushuang hired Dao Dragon at a great price. In addition, he killed the Heart Witch and the others with his battle strength, which was enough to defeat rank 6 True Saint. At that time, he was very excited. Now, 60 years later, Jian Wushuang had killed a rank 7 True Saint directly. This Heavenly Sword Marquis is indeed a bit too heaven-defying. The three-eyed man also said in a low voice, "There are many geniuses in the heaven-cleaving 3 palaces. Although this time there aren't many dazzling geniuses. In history, there have been incredible geniuses in the heaven-cleaving 3 palaces. For example, the super genius remnant king 8 million years ago was a complete monster. He could also kill a rank 6 True Saint with rank 4 battle strength. If he met a weaker rank 6 Peak True Saint, he could also kill him if he was lucky. The reason why Remnant King's battle strength is so strong is that he is a special life form, and he has a high comprehension of the principles under the careful cultivation of the heaven-cleaving 3 palaces. He also has a supreme treasure in terms of attack. However, Heavenly Sword Marquis, without the careful cultivation of the major forces, only relied on himself to obtain opportunities and treasures to grow. In the end, his battle strength is much more terrifying than that of Remnant King. It's really shocking. The three-eyed man was, after all, a principles master, so he had high expectations. He had lived for a long time and had seen many amazing geniuses, but none of them were comparable to Jian Wushuang. Do you think Heavenly Sword Marquis is also a special life form? Amo Shan suddenly asked. Definitely, the three-eyed man said with certainty. He is definitely a special life form, and he must be one of the top ones. Otherwise, his divine power wouldn't be so powerful. Yeah, I think so too. Amo Shan nodded slightly. But even if he is a special life form, to be able to have such combat strength is already very impressive. Moreover, his opportunities are indeed abundant. Looking at this scene, the reason why he was able to kill the rank 7 True Saint of the Purple Cloud Pavilion was because of the secret technique he used at the end. And that secret technique, if I'm not mistaken, is the secret technique he comprehended under the Black God Pillar of the heaven-cleaving mystic realm, the 6 paths of reincarnation. His battle strength is obviously similar to that rank 7 True Saint, but he used this secret technique and easily killed that rank 7 True Saint. The secret technique in the Black God Pillar is really amazing. Chapter 3151. Recognition Amo Shan and the three-eyed man both sighed in admiration at the might of the 6 paths of reincarnation's secret technique. At the same time, both of them felt a trace of envy in their hearts. Such a powerful secret technique was something that even the principles masters yearned for, but unfortunately, they did not have the opportunity. The blue-haired woman was the only one who had been staring at the scene with a solemn expression. Amo Shan, the blue-haired woman, finally spoke. You only paid attention to the last secret skill of Heavenly Sword Marquis. Didn't you notice the many secret skills he used from the beginning? What secret skill? Amo Shan and the three-eyed man looked over. Oh, it's the huge golden emperor phantom behind him and the dark gold armor on his body. The green-haired woman pointed at Jian Wushuang in the picture. Amo Shan and the three-eyed man immediately looked over, but they did not see anything at first. The Golden Emperor Phantom and the dark gold armor on his body should be secret skills that he used. These two secret skills have greatly enhanced his divine power, but such secret skills are not rare in the divine beginning world, right? Emo-shan asked. This type of secret technique isn't rare, but the two secret techniques that Heavenly Sword Marquis used are much rarer, the green-haired woman said. What do you mean? Emo-shan asked. Don't keep us in suspense. Just tell us what you've seen, the three-eyed man urged. You too, you've both lived for millions of years. You've lived for tens of millions of years. Your knowledge is extraordinary. I think you've all heard of the Seven-Star Mysterious Sect. The green-haired woman said, seriously, Seven-Star Mysterious Sect? Emo-shan and the three-eyed man were shocked. The Seven-Star Mysterious Sect was once the overlord of the divine beginning realm. It's the oldest and strongest sect. Of course, the two of us have heard of it, Emo-shan said, although the Seven-Star Mysterious Sect had been destroyed for many years and had not been mentioned for many years as the masters of the rules, they were qualified to know some of the secrets of the divine beginning realm. As for the Seven-Star Mysterious Sect, of course, they had heard of it. It is said that when the Seven-Star Mysterious Sect was at its peak, even the three great saint domains could not compare to it. Only when the three great saint domains joined hands would they have the right to compete with the Seven-Star Mysterious Sect. Although our heaven-cleaving alliance is now the #1 free alliance in the divine beginning realm, our strength and foundation are extremely powerful. If we were to fight against one great saint domain alone, we could easily gain the upper hand. However, once the two great saint domains join hands, I'm afraid that our heaven-destroying alliance would not be able to defeat them. If the three great saint domains join hands, even our heaven-cleaving alliance would have no choice but to retreat. At its peak, the Seven-Star Mysterious Sect could contend against the three great saint domains at the same time. The three-eyed man's voice was a little agitated. They had all heard some legends about the Seven-Star Mysterious Sect. They were also filled with yearning for such an ancient and powerful super sect. But unfortunately, this sect was destroyed many years ago. The three-eyed man sighed softly. Biyun, we are talking about the Heavenly Sword Marquis. Why are you talking about the Seven-Star Mysterious Sect? Could it be that this little guy has something to do with the Seven-Star Mysterious Sect? Emo-shan looked at the green-haired woman. I don't know whether it has something to do with him or not, but I know that the secret technique that the Heavenly Sword Marquis used came from the Seven-Star Mysterious Sect. The green-haired woman said. What? Emo-shan and the three-eyed man were shocked. Biyun, are you sure? Emo-shan immediately asked. I'm sure. The green-haired woman nodded. I've studied the Seven-Star Mysterious Sect for a period of time, and I know that the Seven-Star Mysterious Sect had 5 strongest secret techniques at their peak. I've also seen the mirror images of some of the Seven-Star Mysterious Sect's experts using these 5 secret techniques. I can be sure that among the secret techniques that Heavenly Sword Marquis used, the huge golden emperor phantom behind him is one of the 5 great secret techniques of the Seven-Star Mysterious Sect, the Heaven Punisher. As for the dark golden armor that appeared on his body, it was one of the 5 great secret arts of the Seven-Star Mysterious Sect, the 9 luminary star armor. Also, you should have noticed that when he was fighting with the rank 7 true saint from the Purple Cloud Pavilion, at first the divine power aura he emitted was only at the peak of rank 4, but later on his aura suddenly increased and reached the level of a rank 5 true saint. He obviously used secret art that could increase his realm in a short period of time, and this secret art should be one of the 5 great secret arts of the Seven-Star Mysterious Sect, the 7-star secret art. Among the 5 strongest secret techniques of the Seven-Star Mysterious Sect, the Heavenly Sword Marquis cultivated 3 of them. Do you think he has any relationship with the Seven-Star Mysterious Sect? The green-haired woman looked at Emo-shan and the three-eyed man. This Mo Shan and the three-eyed man looked at each other with a trace of shock in their eyes. If I'm not wrong, he must have been lucky and obtained the ancient inheritance of the seven-star mysterious sect. Or he must have met a peak expert who survived the seven-star mysterious sect and became the disciple of that expert and learned these three secret techniques. But no matter what, he must have some connection with the seven-star mysterious sect, the green-haired woman continued. Originally, it was normal for a cultivator to be lucky enough to obtain the sect's inheritance or become a disciple of a top-tier expert. However, the seven-star mysterious sect is different. The seven-star mysterious sect is the public enemy of all the great factions in the third heaven. The three great saint realms, the four great divine clans, and the eight-direction celestial sect once joined hands to attack the seven-star divine realm. The seven-star mysterious sect was also destroyed because of this. Over a long period of time, the three great saint realm masters in the three great saint realms have been paying attention to the seven-star mysterious sect. Anyone who is related to the seven-star mysterious sect will be killed without mercy. And now, this heavenly sword marquis has the three great secret arts of the seven-star mysterious sect, and the scene of him fighting with the rank 7 true saint from the Purple Cloud Pavilion has spread all over the third heaven. It's impossible for the three great saint realms not to notice it. Moreover, since I can recognize the secret arts that the heavenly sword marquis used, it's impossible for the experts from the three great saint realms who have a deeper relationship with the seven-star mysterious sect not to recognize it. Wait, you mean Mo Shan narrowed his eyes as he stared at the green-haired lady. You should be able to guess what the three great saint realms will do if they find out that the heavenly sword marquis possesses the secret techniques of the three seven-star mysterious sect. The green-haired lady said. A sharp glint shot out from Mo Shan's eyes. Mo Shan, don't be rash. The green-haired lady hurriedly said, I know that you admire the heavenly sword marquis very much, but he is still one of the three great saint realms. I understand. Mo Shan took a deep breath and nodded slightly. Don't worry, I know what to do. I don't dare to provoke the three great saint-level experts. But I need to remind that little fellow that the three great saint-level experts won't come and kill me directly, right?